Just saying it's 11. Hold on. For some reason, it's
It
shut
was that
down.
program.
That's crazy. Yeah, yeah, slide, slide.
Right. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First, I have to give all praises unto
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Shachadash.
The double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and truth. And before we'll go a bit into the coming race wars, man. You know, race wars that's coming down the pipeline. Because over the last, 10, 15 years, there's been a growing xenophobic and racist sentiment that's been bubbling up to the surface. You got a lot of these Edomites, whether it be in Britain, France, Germany, America, who are disenfranchised. You know, they're disenfranchised, they're down bad, they're feeling pain in their own system. They feel as if they're being marginalized in their own system. They feel like they can't speak against certain things, especially when it comes to Jake and the other nations. All right, these nationalists, these right wingers, man, and their ranks are growing by the day, and it's being those flames are being fanned by the system with these, you know, like the terror attack, you know, the Islamophobia and all that plays into it as well. All right, these rape gangs is playing into it heavy right now in the UK. You know, and you could tell because they've let that happen. It is true that they tried to cover it up, but it's with a purpose because they wanted it to become a big issue so they could use it as like a poster boy for why man should be anti-immigration and hate Jake and hate any immigrant. And now they're saying they're not going to do they're not going to do an inquiry on it, which is just even more inflaming these people. But yeah, that's all this is going to ultimately culminate in the manifestation of murderous behavior on behalf of these Edomites
Okay, you
against
can
Jake
take it with you if you
and
want.
against these other nations, man.
I got
You know,
already
you can
some
see
ripped
it
off
building. You get
in my
scriptures on
pocket.
it because
Yeah,
prophecy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, just bring that back. The rest of it. That's it.
Hate is coming back in a good way.
You want to take an address?
Oh,
Yeah, whichever one.
cool, cool.
Ezekiel 25,
Yeah.
verse 12.
Yeah.
Says, thus saith the Lord God Yahweh, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God Yahweh, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord God Yahweh.
Right, so that's what's going to happen because of what these Edomites are going to do and have done to our people. Can you give me the one that says blood, what's this, hate is with the, yeah, because you see a lot of our people don't realize that Esau always has that hate in it, that hate that leads to murder. And we're talking about genocidal type murder, the type of murder where you can murder a man's kids. Real hate, you know what I'm saying? Man's come in and just murder your kids, murder your grandma. Just like he did that to the Native American Indians, he did that to our people before, and he's gonna do it again. You're gonna see the time's gonna come where these Edomites that are feeling down bad, they're gonna come out here wild against immigrants and against people that don't look like them. And they're gonna act like they're the victim. They're already saying it. We're the victim. It's a two-tier society. Yep. They're already positioning themselves as the victims the same way they did before against Gad. When it was Gad, they were the victims. Oh, Gad, they're savages. They're attacking us. And that justified, genocide.
Well, yeah.
That's how these Edomites operate. They always have to, they always come from a point of view, we're the victims, when really they're not.
Well, look at the small hats of what they've been doing in Gaza and that, man. you know, and Syria and all these places, right? They always playing the victim, even though they're there illegally. You know, they weren't living there. They got moved in there by the British government and so on, right? And forced all those people out. So if anyone should be angry, it should be those that were forced out.
Yeah, these
You know?
people are hypocrites. They're always talking about, oh, don't paint all white people by the same brush, but they're ready to paint all immigrants by the same brush. They're ready to point all Jake by the same brush. Oh no, my family never owned slaves. Yeah, well, I ain't shot up. No, I ain't gonna drive by, my nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they're ready to, you know, blanket hate against a whole group of people, but you're not allowed to do it against them.
Yeah. Hey, bro, like even the point on what you was mentioning them being the victim mindset. Remember when Esau gave up his birthright? Then after he said, after the days of mourning my father, I might have been killed. And it's like, hold on.
Same with Cain.
Yeah, it's
Cain acted the same way.
You know?
Yeah, Esau is a murderer, man. He's a savage.
Fugitive.
And that's coming. And like I said, the system itself is priming these Edomites, man. In the UK, you can see it. And they're getting bolder and bolder. And they're feeling more aggrieved. They got Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
He's in solitary confinement and they're all crying. He's an agent. Tommy Robinson ain't in no solitary confinement, man.
Man was talking about that was torture, bro. I was like, oh, you left.
9 weeks. Like, yeah. I was all acting up for the camera. And then behind him, it was like a TV there and all that, just chilling.
Yeah, man.
But man is going on like he's my man from what's it? Denzel played that film. What was that film Denzel was in? Hurricane. That's how they're going on, like he's just in a hole somewhere in the dark and shit, like
Hurricane.
Carter.
Yeah.
Tommy Robinson ain't no hero, bro. But that's, you know, they're raising these people up to be their heroes, like Trump and Elon and all these guys, and they're giving these guys a platform and giving them a battery for them to run with.
Because 35 and 6 says, let me start from verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Right, it says in the time of our calamity. What was the reason for that calamity, that judgment? Go back to the curses. Because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, the Lord took his hedge from off us so that the enemy could prevail. But then Esau had to come in and be that enemy. And he was glad to be that enemy. He was happy to take advantage of the fact that the Lord didn't have a hedge over us to protect us. And what did he do? He took complete advantage of our people. From Gad down to all the tribes, man. Judah, Benjamin, you name the tribe, they were all slaughtered and butchered and exploited by Esau Edom in brutal fashion. Because people like to ignore how brutal Esau, especially in establishing his kingdom, how brutal Esau was towards the men, towards the women, towards the children, towards the aged. Absolutely a brutal individual with heinous crimes being committed. And that same demon is going to come out of him again.
Lamentation chapter 2 verse 16. All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. Esau's always been putting taking down our people, man. You know, with the rest of the nations. But Esau was there. He wanted it so bad. He hates it, man. You
know? Psalms 55 and the 20th verse on down, it says, he have put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but wool was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet there were drawn swords.
Like, you just got to go to the conquest of the West. In the conquest of the West, Esau had one thing in mind from the moment he went over there, and that was total domination. And he achieved that. He achieved it. And he lied and did whatever he had to do to achieve it along the way. And now these people want to act like as if they're inherently good people. You know, you see the hypocrisy. They're always on Twitter. These some civilizations are just inferior. They're just savage. As if they're just inherently just good and righteous people and moral people. Since when? This is what we need to know. Since when have you been inherently moral and inherently righteous? Because everything you can point to the other nations have done, you've done even more. Because we could go into all the history, what you did to the Native American Indians. In fact, the Native American Indians, I believe it was I could be wrong, the Cherokee Nation or one of them dudes, towards the end when they had their lands, they actually went to the Supreme Court in America and won in the Supreme Court to receive their lands. They proven that the land belonged to them in the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court then made the order, sent it to the president of America. I don't know if it was Andrew Jackson at the time. But if you look up the gist of the story I'm telling you, you'll find it. He sent back a message to the judge, okay, now that you've made that ruling, enforce it.
Oh shit.
Because who is the leader of the American army? The president. So that basically he was like, I don't care. They're not getting the land back.
Well, they enforce law, you know, because they got the military, right?
Yeah.
Because these courts don't have militaries, man. They can't enforce
The
shit.
judge can say what he wants, basically.
Yeah,
That's what he said. And these are the type of people that we're dealing with. But then they'll come around and, you know, there'll be some corruptness going on in Nigeria. Yeah, them people are just corrupt.
Yeah.
Bro, you're corrupt. You've been corrupt.
Yeah.
You're just the biggest hypocrites there's ever been in the face of the planet Earth, man.
Yeah.
You went over there, the conquistadors went over to Mexico with Montezuma and them, man. What did they do over there? Pure bloodshed. Pure bloodshed and conquest. The Portuguese in Brazil. Argentina, all of that, man. What did they do? Pure conquest. To the point where the natives that weren't conquered and bludgeoned and brutalized, that managed to escape the brutality of the Edomites, ran into the Brazilian forest, and then man see other human beings as demons to this very day. That's a fact. That's why you get them tribes that when they were taught, because one kid, they when you get separated from your tribe, and then that's how you learn the new language. And then he said, listen, we're taught that when you see like another human, especially white human, they're demons. That's why them man are like that. Like when you run into them, there's certain tribes, you run in them into the jungle, they're not trying to talk because they don't see you as a.
They speak by you.
They've been taught from a child that because they were so scared because of the brutality they received from Esau. When they ran into the jungle, they were like, "Yo, if we ever run into people, dead them." That's because of you, Esau. That's the level of brutality you put on our people. They fled into the jungle and turned into straight savages to protect themselves, man.
Amos chapter 1, verse 11. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
But Esau's always looking for some sort of mercy, man. Some sort of forgiveness. The Lord said you're not getting none, man.
Oh, these Brits, oh well, you know, we outlawed slavery.
Come on, get out of here.
No, what it was, slavery was no longer economical. The slave trade was no longer economical.
Yeah.
But you got the little bit of juice out of it because when you made it illegal, you made sure that certain people could still do it as pirates, right? And they made more money that way because it was now illegal. So you basically cut out all the competition.
Yeah, but you still got people in slavery today, man. Financial slavery. That's how you're doing it now. Yeah, your whole nation is slavery, man.
They didn't need slaves from Africa no more because they had breeding farms in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had breeding farms in America, so they didn't need the trade anymore. It was all economics. It wasn't morals. The Edomites don't have morals, man.
Yeah.
You clearly don't have no morals because your whole society is one scandal after another. Baby food, you don't know, whatever it is.
Bro.
It's just one scandal. There's no ethics.
Scandals fucking everywhere.
Scandals and cover-ups, one after the other, man.
You'll do anything you can get, if you can get away with, man, you'll do it.
Yeah.
And even the hens are gonna come to roost, man. You got the money and power. You settle cases and all kinds of things. You know what I mean? And you carry on. Your business continues.
Here it is. These Edomites are ready to jump on all the immigrants because of this, these grooming gangs. But where was they when the Catholic Church was getting exposed for all the children that they were molesting and killing? They weren't nowhere to be found because of God. Oh, that's Edomites. So it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's all right. Let's forget about that. Where was
that's not all of us.
Yeah. These people are demons, man. You weren't nowhere to be found. You weren't there to stand up and be counted. You didn't go out there and protest so that Jimmy Savile's co-conspirators could be brought to justice.
Well, when that thing went down, you know, in the place of fire, was it Liverpool or some shit? You know, with the guy that killed those, the shooting at
The agent, yeah.
yeah, right. They burnt down those people, hunting down people now. They've never gone to the Vatican and burn that, try and burn that down or anything like that. They don't try and do anything
Because
like
really, that don't trigger their racism. Really, at the core of it is that they're racist and they're just looking for an excuse to come up against people that don't look like them. That's really what it is. That's really, it's not that they have a problem with grooming gangs and pedophiles. They've got a problem with immigrants, man. And they're using this as an excuse to bring out all that hatred that they've been building up. I'm not allowed to say nigger no more. I'm not allowed to have my gollywog. You know what I mean? Like, that's my British history. I'm not going to feel bad about the British Empire. You know what I mean? Man? Yeah, woke.
Yeah.
And these men, they convince themselves that they're patriots of some type, man.
Yeah.
And they ain't doing fuck all for the country, man. They ain't doing fuck
Them
all.
man half of them man ain't even working.
What's I'm saying? They're mostly low lives, man.
No teeth.
Kind of
Tommy Robinson.
Tommy.
Tommy just a cokehead, man. Just a nation of coke. He's as big as hypocritic nation. This nation of cokeheads, man. You dudes are just on coke. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, it says because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
You always have a perpetual wrath against our people. You want to talk about, you know, the way these Edomites want to make it look is they've been this good. This is the image they have of themselves. They've been these good, upstanding, moral people for thousands of years, even though their history says different.
The rich history.
You know, there was no crime. There was no crime. You just imagine a utopia that these men had. These Edomites, without Jake or anyone around, they just had no crime. It was just all beautiful, blondes, blue eyes everywhere, children fluttering around.
Just a couple of world wars and some.
And then they went around the world to spread that goodness. You know, that's what happened. They went around the world to spread the goodness of whiteness to the world, to make sure they had mobile phones.
Enlightenment.
To enlighten the people of the world. Because we're just, you know, the Edomites, they're just so smart and intelligent, even though most of them are low IQ animals who can't speak their own language, English, properly. But we'll forget about all that. We come to England and they can't even speak English. Meanwhile, you go to Newcastle, can't understand a word these men are fucking saying.
Well,
They've got words that don't exist in English.
You go back at school now, back in our days, right? The smartest person in the school was a fucking white kid.
No, it's all
Definitely
Nigel.
definitely not a white kid. You might have some Elamites there, you have some Chinese there, you know. But a lot of Jays there with the higher IQs.
But when you ain't got no melanin, it automatically makes you the highest IQ. That's just how it works. Mud huts, brother, mud huts. Yeah. So you know, everyone else was just mud huts and stupid and dumbed down, never had no history. This is white supremacy, is what they, you know, and then we saved the world by giving the world the light. And then they came over here just to take welfare and commit crime. That's the way they see the world. You know, we were just nice to these people and they came over here and committed crime. When if you ask the actual people, it's a whole different story. Going back into Habakkuk. You went and brutalized the people, brutalized the nation, forced them to worship you under the system of white supremacy. And then when you needed people to work, you brought them over here. That's why there's so-called West Indian men here and women. That's why there's Indians here and Pakistan. The reason they came over here was to work. They didn't come over here for welfare or to commit crime. They came over here to work.
Well, think about this: when we came over, the West Indian that came over, who owned all the gangs? It were us. We didn't have no gangs,
and they were brutalized. They were brutalized and bullied in this country, and that's why the ethnics ended up having to try as hard as they can to live in their own neighborhoods together. Because if you have one black family living in an Edomite area, you guarantee they're getting bullied, they're getting rocks thrown through their houses, dog shit through their letterboxes. There would be man used to tell me, I'll speak to these old Jakes, and they tell me about skinheads roaming through the street, and man had to run and dodge the skinheads. Because they're trying to beat up, you got big grown 19-year-old man trying to beat up a 7-year-old. You Edomites have been vile. You've been aggressive towards everyone. Now you want to play the victim. Now you're the victim. Oh, you know, they're taking over. Taking over what? Clowns, man. That's why I can't respect these Edomites, man.
It's the book of Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
This whole immigrant crisis, again, it goes back to the recent years where you got a massive influx, right, of refugees coming out of certain parts of the world. You can trace it back to the activities of these people. The Middle East, who set the Middle East on fire? Why are there so many Afghans? Why are there so many Afghans in the UK? What happened? Someone remind me what happened in Afghanistan. Why a bunch of men ate hair from Afghanistan? When did a bunch of Afghanistanis start running into Europe and running into the name? What happened again? Someone remind me what happened there. Someone remind me what happened in North Africa. Why all these people? What happened in South America? Why you got a whole bunch of people trying to go to America?
You destroyed the people, man.
It was
And
you.
they're
It was you. You destroyed these nations. You caused crisis in these nations, and people flee those nations to your nations. But that was all set up.
This is the Psalms 58 in the NLT. It says, this is Psalms 58:1. It says, do you justice, do you rulers know the meaning of the world? Sorry, word? Do you judge the people with fairness? No. You plot in justice in your hearts. You spread violence throughout the land. You know,
Yeah, that's what you've done. Like we could talk about you're the reason why there's an India and Pakistan and Bangladesh. The partition goes back to you.
Killed, like, think they say like 2 million people died in the process.
The extreme poverty you see in a lot of region in the world goes back to you. You say you're not innocent in this. Now, obviously, these Edomites, they're down bad because their own people are violating them. But look at your own people. But you're ready to jump on us, but it's prophecy because we know that's your nature anyway. You're going to be used to come up against the Jake. But you're going to find something out at the end of that.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
And that's it. You Edomites are the bad rulers, man. You're devils. You rule the people with hatred, man. And now you want to play the victim, and now you're going full nationalistic, even in America, talking about the border, the border, the border. And now they're using this whole thing. They're saying the truck came across the border, which is all set up. The whole thing with the truck and that was all set up. Perfectly happens just before Trump is coming in, so he can push the New World Order agenda for the digital ID and all that around the borders. Because these illegals and these immigrants, these illegal immigrants and all this stuff. These dangerous immigrants. You're the danger, man.
you need to be more from that sword of the Most High.
Maybe you don't want to stop the predatory practices of your corporations in these nations that's destroying these nations, causing these people to flee where they live.
Micah 2:2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
There you go. That's the heritage of you Edomites around the world. And now that the everyday Edomite is catching the shitty end of the stick because their own elites are putting the screw to them. Now you want to take it out on me? because you're a minimum wage, brother? Because you ain't got a proper education? Drinking your white lightning, man?
True.
Oh man.
True.
Now you want to blame me because I got a job?
Right there.
But this is the thing, your own elites don't give a shit about you, man.
Yeah.
They equate you to the rest of these heathens, man.
It's not our fault that
You know?
the economic base of England is in London. Because, you know, where they do most of the stealing, because that's really what London is based on, financial crime, right? So all the economy runs through London, and all the immigrants are put in London. That's great. No one stopped you from moving to London. And then it's not, we didn't destroy the industries. We didn't say, oh, shut down the coal plants, shut down all the industries so these Edomites up there can be broke and on the universal credit.
Well,
That's not our fault.
they just blocked a coal plant being set up. What was it, a couple of months ago, man? They were going to open up a new one, and then they said, nah.
And
What is it? Who's really taken from you? Because you always complain about they're taking our jobs, but who's destroyed your jobs?
it's you.
It's Esau. Like you're
And if you're so high IQ, then why are you, man, not educated? This is the same education system that Abdi. Why has Abdi Sandeep got a pharmacy and a pharmacy degree and you don't? Well, maybe you Edomites are not as high fucking IQ as you thought you were. That's why you all had time to come down to London and protest, because you weren't at work.
all you could do is talk about fucking football.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus 14 and start from 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envies himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness.
Yeah, your society is falling apart and is falling upon you because you're the devil anyway. So these Edomites don't care about other Edomites. Right? And they even give you false messiahs because they got you thinking that Donald J. Trump cares about you when he don't. That Elon Musk cares about you and he's a champion for you. No, he's not.
He cares more about AI, bro.
They don't even care. And that should make you, Jakes, wake up, because you got to think to yourself, if these Edomites don't care about their own people, then that means they damn sure don't care about us. You got to look at it like that.
MJ told us, man.
If they can have their own people living on the streets and down bad and hooked on meth and all that stuff, yeah, then how much more do they not care about us?
Yep.
Then you know what time it is. That's why we on our P's and Q's, man. We ain't trying to look to these Edomites for savior, because they ain't even trying to save their own people. So how they gonna save me?
Big one on that.
Yeah,
This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
right. And the justice talking about there, you're gonna keep reading. The justice talking about there is talking about Israel. So a lot of people read the scriptures, they don't want to take context. First thing they want to run when we bring out the scriptures, what's the context?
Yeah.
But they never bring no context. If you read the book of Habakkuk, it's set in the Babylonian captivity. The first chapter, if you read the first chapter, it's basically cursing out Jake and telling Jake how they're gonna go into captivity under the Babylonians. Then the second chapter is the Lord basically cursing out the Babylonians and talking about Jake in this. So when it says the just is going to live by faith, that's a promise he's making to Israel because of what they're going through. Then as you read on, it starts digging out the Babylonians, which spiritually is the Edomites today. Then when you get to the third chapter, what does it talk about? The Lord coming, destroying them and saving the Israelites. So when the scripture said the just shall live by faith, that wasn't no general statement made to everyone. The just was talking about the Israelites. He's saying, but the Israelites that are faithful, that are going to be delivered. Keep reading.
It says, yea, also because he transgressive by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Now that again, now spiritually, that brings us forward to Esau, because Esau's in that same spirit. He don't keep at home. The Edomite man is crying about immigration when you are the worst immigrant that's ever been on the planet Earth, because you immigrated to every corner of the earth and messed up everywhere you've been. And we could go down the long list of nations, places where man will never be. You've spread more than anyone. Australia, some next Marshall Islands, some next islands, man, and you can't even see on a map.
Yeah.
That
Amazon.
was crazy.
the middle of the Amazon, the Congo,
You got
British,
the Falkland
like,
Islands
you
by
know,
Argentina.
the Inuits.
Yeah, no, I was actually working something on them this
Bro.
week, man.
You spread yourself forth throughout the whole world and violated.
Fucking nice.
That's why you got so many immigrants drawing themselves to you, because you set up an empire, man. And you stole from everyone, man. That's why the scripture's gonna say you increase that which is not yours. That's called stealing.
Fugitive.
We said, yeah. Habakkuk 2 and 5 said, yeah, also because he
It's
oh,
read
like,
it.
that's.
Yeah, it says,
No,
but that's the spirit.
I was locked in the spirit. I must get the priest.
It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
But right, so once you know, these Edomites have always, especially the elite of Esau, they can't be satisfied. They want everything. Now they even want the little that they've given to their own people, and that's why they're destroying their own middle class and their own working class. And them men are getting angry at us. But it's your people and your greed.
So he tends to wipe them out, man. Because you remember the Georgia Guidestones that was taken down not too long ago, right? That number that's left that was on that, you know, was 500 million. That's the majority of people on the planet, right? Actually, that includes Esau.
Yeah.
The low life of Esau, you know.
The reality, no, man. Listen, the reality is, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Let's fuck about with this Hollywood shit. Most Edomites are low-grade individuals. They got no talent.
Space and so.
They have no talent or worth. Man, oh, no, it's true.
Especially these jobs.
It's
Yeah.
true. They
That's-
got
that's
no
why you see
talent
them
or
come
worth. In the UK, there's a lot of men. They got no talent or worth. They're not exceptionally intelligent. They're not exceptionally strong.
Well, check this. You was mentioning the fucking the percentages, right? You like Jake is like 1% or 2% of the population. 3%, right?
3 or 4%.
That's small comparison to Esau, right? And yet more Jake come through and do all these different things.
Yeah.
And there's a smaller pool of us.
But the man can't even make their own football team.
There should
bro.
be tons of fucking Edomites doing bare shit if they were fucking had any type of talent.
Bro, most of them are bad resources, man.
Yeah.
They're not exceptional people. Let's just keep it real. They're not. Now they're crying about in America how they got to import all of the coders
H1B.
from India.
Yeah.
And now they're crying, but you Edomites,
Shit.
most of you Edomites are dumb, man. You ain't ready for all that.
Well, the case with Twitter showed you that, right? Because Twitter was what, like several thousand people, which fuck Elon Musk, excuse my French, but like he cut basically 80% of the workforce, and
Brought in Elon.
it was still, yeah, which a lot of them would have been H1B that were remaining, right? And the website for the most part still works as it was. In fact, there's been more features since. So what was the other 90%, 80% doing?
Eating donuts, drinking coffee.
Basically, they snitched on themselves. We all watched the videos.
The Edomites, you're the lowest value people. The only reason we're gonna put you in slavery is because of punishment, and that's why we're just gonna get rid of you. And guess what? No one's gonna miss you because there's nothing you have to offer that it's like, oh, we really need these men around. What do we need? What do you need it for?
But that's why you got to be doing the basic work in the kingdom, man.
Yeah.
Because you're not good for nothing else.
That's a good, yeah. That's a
What do you need you for? To dance? You can't even be a good jester. You heard vocab, right?
Funny.
Oh, man.
Man's want to be entertained. Yo, get one of them Edomites to drop some bars.
Yeah.
Man's dropping some whack ass bars.
Yeah, you're gonna find that all those
Tango hat.
all them white
Trying to
comedians and
freestyle,
shit, man.
yeah.
They're actually funny, man. You're gonna find out that they're
Yeah,
Israelites and
Jake,
they're Irish and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Esau's
You ain't got no man.
boring, man. Esau is just most of them too. The thing is, you got to be around these people. Actually,
Yeah.
be around them and operate around them. I had some boiled eggs yesterday. It was like, niggas just dry,
People are
man.
fucking drinking beer out of fucking each other's butt cracks and shit.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, they're dry.
You
They
know what I'm
foul.
saying?
They're
Yeah,
perverse. Yeah, they're perverse
Yeah.
in the way they act, man. They be always doing some perverseness, man. That's
Yeah.
really all they're good at.
Yeah.
They excel in pervert. You know what? Thank you. That's really what they excel in. They excel in
Oh.
perverse activities.
I must be allowed to read. It's true. It's,
You know, licking toes and all that. Yeah, Esau put, you know, you'll find some nastiness to do, licking toilet seats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, that he excels in all that
must be allowed to read.
mischief.
This is Malachi 1 and 4. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever.
That's right, man. You Edomites, listen, the whole idea that you're this superior people, it's all been a lie and a facade, man. It's all been a lie and a facade, and you've actively had to work against other people and destroy them to be on any level. Because anyhow this world was on a level playing field, you'd be left behind. You'd be left all the way behind. Because that's where you belong. We see it because brothers that get up in the corporate world and all that, we see a lot of you Edomites are blagging it. You're blaggers. A lot of you got jobs in the company, and you could easily be cut, and it will just increase the efficiency of the company. A lot of you are you're company killers.
There's a not a law, but like a rule, as a saying rule, where it's like 10% of the workers do 50% of the work.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of jobs out there that Esau created for his people in his companies, and they're earning good money, and they really not necessary. Until some real economic hardship comes and start handing out them resignations, and then you find out who was worth anything, which is what's happening now. A lot of these companies are just firing these Edomites, man. Hold on, this man's here on 80 grand a year. What does he actually do? All right, cool. Just cut that guy, man. Cut that role.
That's what he does.
Redundancy for you.
They make up roles for these demons, man.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, and then a lot of them are incompetent. But one thing I noticed here, they ignore Esau's incompetence as much as possible and focus on Jake. You know, this is devils, man.
100%.
They ignore Esau and his incompetencies for years. Man's will get away with it, man. You're a fraud. You're a fraud, Esau, man.
Again, the only reason why you got as far as you have is because the Spirit of the Lord is with you, man, to rule in this society, in this world right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be nowhere. You was blessed with the sword, and so everything's heavy dependent on violence, man, to get all these nations and under your thumb.
Sure.
They're saying that every other nation is so dumb and dumbed down. These are the same man complaining about their entire society when you're the one managing. So you're a 10 hard guy.
Hey, can I say as well, with he's a gatekeeper, man. It's like he will have people thinking that, like, for instance, people thinking that they can't do stuff, but it's just so that he can keep that position. I saw something earlier on, which is even like a lot of these guys potentially were doing a whole DEI thing to be like, no, we need to put these people in position so that people that were actually good wouldn't become a threat to their different positions and stuff like that. You know?
Esau, man, he's a fraud. Anyway, we still got Habakkuk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back
You got
here,
something?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay. What, you want to read it now?
Yeah, I can read it now. It's Isaiah 14 and 6.
Yeah, good scripture.
It says, in fact, let me start from 4.
Yeah, please.
That thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted.
Right. When you go back and you look at it, even Esau will admit, that most of these wars in the world, their intelligence services have had a hand in it. Because they basically can only operate in a world where they're constantly causing chaos and undermining everyone else to come in and take advantage. They can't live in a world where it's like, listen, we're doing good, we're going to help you to do good, because we're just better than you, you're always going to need us, so we'll all just rise together.
They don't actually like competition.
Yeah, they're nasty, they're underhanded, they're the type of people to drug the competition, put shit in people's drinks. They can't compete, they can't compete, so they always got to do these shady, underhanded, skullduggery tactics.
I have a quick one on that point. This is Proverbs 4 and 16. It says, they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall.
That's
For-
all they are.
For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
Right. So these dudes go in, destroy people's nations, subvert them culturally, socially. They'll one of the best examples of that is the Chinese opium wars.
Oh, bro, that was
When these men tried to pump China full of opium to destroy them, to destroy the people.
destroyed them.
Now you got to think about that.
Yeah.
Have we seen drugs being used against as a weapon against people?
Exactly.
Of course we have.
Yeah.
The crack epidemic
Like,
was the same thing.
same thing.
They came in with the crack because Jake was doing well,
Yeah.
and like I said, them original crackheads weren't nobodies. A lot of them were nurses, doctors, professionals, and they were used to taking the cocaine, but the cocaine don't turn you into a ghost. You know what I mean? It was like cocaine was like a party drug that was like if you got a bit of money, you could do a little bit of blow,
And it's all right.
and you'd be all right. You'd be functional still, like you know what I mean. You can still take care of the kids. You ain't gonna sell your kids but that crack. A lot of them didn't know what it did. It was oh yeah, just try this. Man's like,
UCLA.
Man, so
a man will go from a full professional on like 80K a year,
degenerate.
whole savings, everything gone, and turn into a ghost.
Yeah.
Musician ghost, everything ghosted. That's what Esau did that on purpose.
Yeah.
And with the knock-on effect of all that, generation of broken children,
Yeah.
and that's where you get all these little crazy Negroes that are just wild as hell.
Yes.
You can see, all you gotta do is trace. Okay, where did this dysfunction start?
Yeah.
And a lot of it, you'll trace it back to the crack epidemic because all that the drugs and the crime also leads to a lot of molestation and there's a lot comes from behind it, man. Prostitution.
And then they also start to change their laws, whereby 100 grams of cocaine white powder is the same thing as 1 gram of crack, which crack was obviously used, especially by Jake.
Yep.
So it was Jake that was getting sent to jail for 35 to years plus for a piece.
Even if they weren't a dealer.
Yeah, even if
Even if
wasn't
they
a
weren't a
dealer.
dealer, they were just a user.
Yeah.
So now that's a whole different thing. You got incarceration. Now you got a criminal record.
Yeah.
So now life is even more difficult for you to be a functioning member of society. And then it's like a vicious cycle.
And even as well, like even certain mums that would actually go and get help, right? If they would say, "Oh yeah, I actually do take crack and stuff," when the child gets born, that child gets taken straight into care.
And then you know what happens in there.
So what I was gonna say about that as well, because they were saying that the women that are pregnant on crack and shit, man, it affected the babies as well, man. So the babies come out all fucked up, man. They come out addicts and shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that was just perpetuating that problem, that issue, man. That Jay can't get out of that cycle. They're born fucked up already, man.
Already born fucked up.
Yeah, and it's been
born
admitted
degenerates.
that the CIA was the Iran Contra. It's admitted that they were doing that. Rick Ross, Rick Ross. The plug was the CIA. But who got in trouble for this? Because that's crazy. You've destroyed a large communities across the whole country, and I thought the CIA's job, the Central Intelligence Agency, was about saving the world.
Right.
Like James Bond and them, man. Because the CIA supposedly operates offshore, right? And it's supposed to be the NSA that operates inland. I think just like you got MI5, you got MI6. MI5, I believe, is external threats. But this is what we're trying to tell you, that these agencies are not there to protect righteousness or to protect anything. They're there to pull the strings and commit mischief in the earth. Because why are they dealing drugs? What part of dealing drugs? But you're putting people in jail for dealing drugs, but your agency, one of the highest agency in your system, is selling the drugs.
And it's the thing with these agencies, right? These intelligence agencies. It always seems to happen, though. Oh, we missed that one. We knew about this guy, but somehow we just got through. You know what I'm saying? These guys are not working in your best interest, man.
Didn't it come out a few years ago that a lot of the ones that they've caught are people that they set up to do those things?
It's not surprising.
Heavy entrapment, man.
Entrapment, that's the word, yeah.
But they show you that in that show called Snowfall.
Yeah.
Teddy he was
CIA, man.
With Franklin Shake. He was using him to push
and destroyed those people, man. And there's a lot that happens. It's not just like I said, the whole crack someone becoming a crackhead, you got to think about the fact that those crackheads then have to go
Yeah.
and steal and do all kind of crazy shit, sell their children into prostitution. So there's a whole
Destruction.
tsunami of madness that destroys a community once you start pumping crack in there. And like I said, Esau did that, and he tried to do it to the Chinese with the opium, and that's documented.
Yeah,
It's documented. But you know who the drug dealer is Jake. And yeah, man, because of the music, everything's Jake is the number one drug dealer out here.
Habakkuk 2 and 15.
So,
He actually begged Esau to stop. You know what I mean? Like if you go into the opium wars kind of history, bro, it actually got so bad. They'll come to the town center and get all of the opium and pour it like into the sea. You know what I mean? Saying, please, like stop it, stop it, bro.
And then
Esau still find a way.
that because there's more than one way to destroy your people. It's not just through the sword. You can destroy your people through subversive tactics, like crack, like music, like these organizations that they fund. They'll find people they can fund that's gonna bring something destructive among you and let it grow.
Sex.
But when you break it down, it goes back to them. Just like the music industry, it goes back to them. That's why you got your Gorillas and your Sexy Reds and all that, and the lean niggas and all that. Behind that, those are all culturally subversive agents. They're there to subvert black culture, so-called black culture, to create the next generation of morons that they could turn around and point and say, see, look at these niggas. But you got a hand in that.
Habakkuk 2 and 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
Yeah, they come in, they don't have a problem proliferating a certain culture among you. And then once you're destroyed, they come in and point the finger. Oh yeah, look at these people. They behave so destructive. Look how these people are acting. When you got a hand in that, in the social engineering of that people. Yeah.
Isaiah 32 and 5. It says, the vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak valiantly, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And that's Esau. He's vile. When you get into that word vile, it's like a scoundrel, like a niggardly person. And that's Esau. He's the ultimate nigger of the earth. Hey, shalom.
Yeah, I was watching one thing with this guy, the savior, Elon Musk, which he's complete fraud. And there was a UFC fighter that came out and said, listen, this guy's got all that money and all he's doing is building rockets, man. He ain't actually trying to help nobody. You could tell straight off from the back from that he's fake. And he is a fake, he's a phony. These Edomites, man, they've got the money and the resources to actually socially engineer society into righteousness, but they purposely socially engineer society the other way. On one hand, you're telling people not to be criminals, but you make a bunch of new movies and music that glorify criminality. So how does that work? Man's watching Gone in 60 seconds, and the protagonist is a fucking car thief. You're meant to cheer on a car thief, but then you're not meant to go out and steal cars in real life. How does that work? How can a society, on one hand, promote one thing as being criminal and cool, but on the other hand, say you're not meant to do it? That's confusion.
Fast and Furious, man, are speeding all the time.
Fast and Furious. It's a whole franchise about people that are stealing cars, committing crimes,
boosting cars and boosting cars,
putting recklessly endangering people's lives down the street. And you're meant to cheer these people on.
Family, bro.
So imagine as a child growing up how confused you are. Someone's telling you something's bad, but at the same time glorifying it at the same time. That's confusion.
Again,
but that's why they call it Babylon.
Like brother said, look upon their shame, man. Because these things are not good for a people to aspire to. And Esau knows that, So when because Edomites, I mean, there's Edomites that behave in like, in the same kind of manner, but these elites, man, they don't do all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
But they get you to do it, man, so they can have the higher ground to look down upon you and say, look, man, you're an issue, you're a problem, right? I know these fucking these mini Edomites, where these lower life Edomites, man, they all, buy into that, man, that you're an issue.
But they do. But this is the worst thing. You go to any Edomite, like you go Newcastle, them man are based in car. Them man are committing all the same crimes. It's just a lie. Esau, man, he needs to go. That's the bottom line of it. Have you got anything? You finished on Isaiah?
Just one more verse here. It
And we
says,
still had Habakkuk.
yeah,
Finish off Habakkuk
back
2.
to Habakkuk 2, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, but verse
Finish
7, but I'm gonna get it in the NLT because it actually says scoundrel. It says the smooth tricks of scoundrels are evil. They plot crooked schemes.
Yeah.
They lie to convict the poor,
Mhm.
even when the cause of the poor is just.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's Esau.
That's his
That is
choice.
Esau, man. This is a kingdom where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
Well, I don't know if you did that. Steve, you did that video on the carbon tax thing, innit, right?
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, you did it, yeah. All right, because it's always the poor that they're being attacked, right? And Esau, he gets to get away with it because he's the one bringing about these new ideas and new laws and whatever, right? But the poor people have to make all the sacrifices, right? And so all Esau is doing is further oppressing people, right? That's all he does. He oppresses and presses till you're destroyed.
Yeah.
He doesn't let up, man. He could judge the needy. He could do things for the poor and that, but he don't. He's got all this wealth and all this money, but that's not what he chooses to do with his money. He wants to keep what he's got, right? But take away from you. And that mentality is off. It's wicked, man.
Yeah.
This people doesn't care about his subjects or his people. We don't care. They're nothing but a nuisance to him. And once they fulfill their usefulness, he's so quite happy to let you die, man. He's quite happy to let you die.
But the Trump cares.
Yeah, he cares.
Trump cares about the common man. He cares about the common man. He's a man of the people. Kisses babies and all.
Man, where the fuck was he before he ran for president? No, he don't give a fuck, man.
You're firing people, isn't he?
Yeah, he's man, fraud. He's fired.
You're fired.
Livelihood's down the drain.
You're fired. He's firing people, man. Yeah, but this is a sick place, man. But these Edomites, they're gonna get more and more angry, man. Things are only getting harder out here.
Mm.
Things are only gonna get harder, and they're gonna have the bots on the internet whipping up these Edomites into a hysteria, man. They're gonna start looking at you funny, and they see you got a nice job, and they hate on it, man. That's why I be trying to hide my uniform, because these Edomites, you like, oh, you ain't meant to have a job like that. That's how they feel. I know I work with Edomites that look at me, and you can tell in their mind, they're thinking, hey, you ain't meant to be.
Yeah.
You need to get rid of all. There's too many of you on the job.
Hey, when you tell E you got a good, like, certain time they'll try to bait. So what do you do then? And you already know what they're asking.
Yeah.
They want to feel that superiority over you all the time. They want to feel that, but when they find out that you're doing better than them, man, they get pissed.
Yeah, they don't want
They're pissed because they feel inferior now. It's like it's this fucking nigga. You know what I mean? They feel upset.
Don't let them see you drive a nice car.
Yeah, they get envious, man. Well, he's so covetous as hell, right? He envious as hell, right? So he's a hater. He hates,
Oh, man, that's what we're bringing out, and it's going to lead to a lot of bloodshed, a lot of clashes, man. Yeah.
Right, back in Habakkuk chapter 2, from verse 5, it said, "Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied."
Right, Esau can't be satisfied. They want more. They want it all. They want to be the hero, and they want to be the villain. You know what I mean? They want it all. They want to be praised. They want to be loved. They want to be fed. Like, you have to thank these Edomites, man. They want you to be grateful. These Edomites want you to be grateful. They want you to get down on your hands and knees and thank them for providence, man. These people are sick in the head, man. They want Mars. They want the moon. They want it all. They want everything, man. They don't want no one to have nothing. And they even come out and telling you now. They're like, you will own nothing. You will own nothing and be happy. It's like, damn, I
There's
already
the light.
damn near own nothing
Yeah, yeah,
already.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
How much more do you want?
It's like, damn. Meanwhile, these men have got crazy estates, yeah?
Yeah.
Look at Prince, you know, it came out the other day how much estate that the royal family own that they rent out to the government and different things. And
Man, own national parks and shit. You know what I mean?
well, of
Like,
course, I mean, and then the fact that the average person, because they still get money, they get money because of their office. You know, they turn up to Wimbledon and they sit in the box and wave. You know, they get paid for that because they're doing their
public appearances.
It's a royal duty. You know, when you get to watch Wimbledon in front row seat and all that.
Man, talking about it like it's a fucking job, like it's
Of course, it's hard work, brother. Look how hard it is. They have to go to these events and
get that
chauffeur there. Free champagne.
They get their weddings paid for. Their wedding was
Taxpayers'
paid
money.
for by the taxpayer. They you know they got all the homeless people out of the way. Put in and they had their little wedding. Funerals are paid for. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting all that duty money, right? But so then most people forgot that they're still the royal family. So that money they're getting from the government, that's not their actual money. That's just some change that's getting thrown their way. They own shit. Because guess what? Royal families or nobles were always landlords. This is how are these people so uneducated? The Edomites are like, oh my God, you mean they're getting paid? They own this building and the government's paying them to be in the building? Is that, yeah, they're a landlord. That's pretty much what all nobility was in every country. Royal people own land and you pay to be on that earth. They didn't even have no idea. That shows you how uneducated and messed up these people are. But they've been hiding it, that's why. They make sure that whenever they talk about the royal family, they don't mention, the media don't mention it. Don't mention the buildings they own. About the Duke of Westminster owns the whole of Westminster and all them shops that's down there paying them rent.
Them man are earning double and triple bubble. You know what I mean?
And they got investments too.
They're raking it from all sides.
They got investments in all the top Vanguard and BlackRock and all that. But they're rich. They've been hand to hand with the Rothschilds for years. In fact, there's information out there that Queen Victoria was actually a Rothschild herself and slept with a Rothschild too. I don't know how true it is, but I wouldn't put it past them that they're really closet Rothschilds.
Victoria.
Yeah. They're saying that Victoria, that because the Rothschild was there, the like the hand of the king and all that. They're saying that there was some spooky business going on, and it wouldn't surprise me for them to sneak in there and sow the seed. Well, I don't know. Neither here nor there, is it? Go on.
Yeah, it says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Right, Esau wants to be the one to have dominance over all people. That's why he won't leave nobody alone. He made sure that he went out into the world and he just wants to conquer and have all people in subjection unto him, which is really our birthright. That's the birthright of the Israelites, but he wants to be in dominance over all people of the earth. And then he wants to talk about, they come over here and they don't learn our language. Bro, I don't know. I don't know, man. These Edomites, man, they got some nerve.
But when you look at most of the world can navigate English. That's just the large majority of the world. It's not really, in the context of the world, the Brits are the odd ones out.
Well,
and the Americans.
After these fucking Edomites, they can't speak English anyway.
They're the ones that
You know what I mean?
impose their ways on other people more than anything else.
So that's a superior complex.
But you see, these people, man, they got a big problem, man. They're like it says, they got the pride. Yeah, and they're just demons, man.
Yeah.
It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his?
You stole, my man. You stole from every people. Every people on the earth can look at the Esau and say, yo, bro, you came over to where I am from and you stole. You're a thief. That's what it means. When you increase that which don't belong to you, that's what a thief does. You're a thief. You're not happy with your own inheritance. Every people on this earth was given their own inheritance, man. And you steal other people's inheritance to enrich yourself. And that's why there's a first world And then even in the first world, there's a massive gap.
Yeah.
There's a massive gap. Like in the think about it this way, right?
Yeah.
It sounds insane, right? But if you're on like 100K, 100,000, 100,000 pounds a year, right?
Wait, such a
Technically, that makes you in the top 3% in the UK, right? But think about that. So that means that really the top 1%, right, are massive amounts of wealth. If just having that little bit, yeah, puts you in the top 3%. That just shows you how much of a massive gap there is between the top 1% of Edomites and and then so then add that to the rest of the world. Because if you're in the West, just they got little calculators that will calculate your salary and where you are in the rest of the world. It's madness. Because if you do it for the rest of the world, you might find your salary puts you in the top. You down bad, and your salary is like puts you in the top 3% in the world. So you're thinking, rah.
What is it? You're either like you say, you're either like on the top bracket of 100 grand or whatever, but the next step above that is like millions. You know what I'm saying? And the gap between, I don't know, the average Joe that might earn like 20 grand a year, or whatever, 20, 25 grand a year.
Massive.
Yeah, to 1,000 is not that big comparison to 100,000 to like a million.
Yeah.
It's a massive gap, And so those people earning 100,000 because of the tax system, that you really kept down. Being kept down low because you can't really make those up for jumps, man.
Like a billion is 1,000 million, man.
You got these Edomites with tens of
Trillions,
billions,
man.
all kinds of shit.
Precept.
Yeah,
Show one, bro. Yabashim Shabbat from.
Shalom.
Proverbs 22 and verse 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want.
Say, read that again. I didn't hear it.
Yep, Proverbs 22 and verse 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want.
And that's what's going to happen to these Edomites, right? They're beginning with their elites. They're going to be brought down low because their whole regime and their whole modus operandi is to be an oppressor. But then this is the kicker. They're also philanthropists.
Yeah.
This is the insane thing. To the world, these are philanthropists. If you go to the Rothschilds, they're described as philanthropists.
It's funny that all these billionaires and millionaires, they're all they offer all this money to charity all the damn time and that. But what's really changing in the world? Only these wicked agendas that are really taking place in the world, digital IDs and the MOTB technology, digital card. All that's really what's being done, being funded by these elite banking families, these rich, right? Mr. Gates and that, what they've put their money into, vaccinations and all these kinds of things, man. What are they actually doing to help?
Nothing.
How are you gonna do to help people?
Even down to, what's it called again? What's that thing that they give countries again? Something aid. What's that thing? Is that what it's called? I thought there was another name for it.
Foreign aid.
Foreign aid, right? When you really break down foreign aid, it's just bribes. Foreign aid isn't designed to help the country they're giving the foreign aid to. The foreign aid is a bribe to the leaders in that country to continue to allow the corporations and so forth from these countries to pilfer the country. Its foreign aid is openly known as it's a bribe, and that's why they're giving it. They're not giving foreign aid because they're trying to help the people in that country. It's like that leader, okay, listen, man, we'll send you this foreign aid. So they're using your taxpayer money to give it to pay another person off so the corporations can go and fleece that country. That's oppression right there. You know what I mean? And then if that leader don't take the bribe, you know what happens? They'll make sure that he take
This
the
man's a tyrant.
Yeah, they'll get him out of the way and put in someone else in that'll play ball. And the guy, John Perkins, exposed that years ago. The economic hitman exposed the way Esau operates in a whole book. Because he was doing the job. He said, yeah, if they don't take the economic plan we give them, then, and he said he warned man. He's telling man, listen, bro, if you don't play with me, the guys they're gonna send in after them psychos,
Mercenaries,
they're gonna take you out. They don't got no problem taking you out, take your family out.
And that's basically the same mentality that Esau's always had, man. That gunboat diplomacy type shit. You know, he'll come with the threats, right? You don't play ball. He got the power and means to get you out, man. You know.
So book of Psalm 73 and 7:3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men.
Because they all make you pay on the weaknesses of these other nations, man. You know, and like brother read earlier about them being a hammer of the earth. They're here to oppress people, man.
That's right.
Right? And where a nation doesn't have the ability to resist, hey, you're easy pickings for them.
That's right.
You know?
And when they do their bullshit, it's never where they are. You look at where these actual elites live. Like you got places in Switzerland. There's certain is it Switzerland? You know, brother. You know, there's a country where it's like the neighborhood don't even have no tax. It only needs to take like a 1%.
Oh,
tax.
Luxembourg.
Yeah, Luxembourg,
something like
because the whole country is just every door is like a billionaire or a millionaire. Like you got
Yeah.
places like Monaco.
Yeah, because you got in Switzerland, you got a place called it's spelled Gstaad, spelled pronounced Stad, and it's just like you go there and it's like, yo, if you're there,
Yeah,
God.
and I think it must be the problem because the local government, you know, they don't only need to tax people like minimal because everyone there got so much money. It's not like here where they're taxing everyone bare money. They just need to tax man a little tiny little bit, and they got enough to run the water and everything, and that's fine. This man are just, you won't ever hear nothing happening there. No terrorists. The terrorists never go there to do nothing. You ever notice that? They never attack them. They never do nothing in no billionaire neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? You never hear about them billionaires getting caught up when things are happening.
True.
They're nowhere near that stuff, man, because they're away from all kind of crime and things like that. You just see the Rothschilds in London. No one jacks their phone. I never heard of no one jacking no Rothschild's phone. They're just rolling around London doing their thing. They ain't in no danger whatsoever. These machete wielding fucking things on the fence.
As I say, if the Austrians really had a target, you pick a man like that, innit? But they don't.
Nah. You never hear about it. Man will run up on a Rothschild. You see the man with the video, yo, Jacob's like, what about the New World Order? What? Have a nice day. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are they're not in trouble. They be up in the Hamptons and all them faces there in America. They got their neighborhoods, man, and it's chill. Gangs never press them. You ever notice that? You never hear about these men getting pressed by the gangs?
Never.
Why ain't the gangs pressing them? What are you pressing me for? I'm broke. Go press one of these billionaires. Put the blicky to man and go to that ATM. You never hear about that, do you?
Why would that?
Oh.
Why that money?
I was going to say, their pride, therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment.
So they go around this earth in pride, man, because like, nothing's going wrong for them in it, pretty much. They get to walk around this world with immunity, pretty much, you know.
So, and they got that good PR, man. That good public relations. That's why it was as old as going into. That's why everyone thinks that they're saints.
Yeah.
That they're James Bond. That they're
philanthropists and shit.
Philanthropists and everything. But these sons, they're literally the scumbags of the earth.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they can get these Edomites. They can manipulate them because they know they're hateful bastards. They just need to point them in a direction. Like I said, which is what they're doing now. You know, in the UK now, you got this reform parties come out of nowhere, and I'm not surprised if, bro. Don't be surprised if somehow that reform party gets into power, man. Because the political atmosphere in the UK right now, the Conservatives are down bad. No one rates them. They've been down bad. They put a Nigerian immigrant as the head, right? That's insane. So they're finished. Labour's been finished. They only got into power because no one's rating the Conservatives, and a little bit of goodwill they had, they destroyed it within the first 3 months of it. If they probably had an election right now, it wouldn't surprise me if Reform is the one that wins. Because them Edomites are really they're leaving the Conservatives, leaving Labour, leaving the Lib Dems, and jumping onto the far right, man.
That's been the whole thing throughout Europe, though. Is it now that it's like AFD, then all the AFD they might win, and in Germany all of the quote right wing parties, man.
Because these people are fed up and tired, man, and they want to vent their frustration. And they're giving those political leaders, they're giving them the outlet to do that.
Nigel Farage was a banker. This is insane.
Yeah, but he's a man of the people,
Yeah,
apparently.
he's a man of the people. Yeah,
Just like Trump.
this is insane. But he's a hero, and his approval. I looked it up. According to the numbers, he's actually got the largest approval rating of all of the leaders. The highest approval. There's more people that like him individually than like the other leaders.
You couldn't really get a look in before, because he was leader of UK.
And now Elon is backing them.
Yeah.
Elon's donating money to reform UK.
And everything Elon puts money towards, man, develop into something, because that's how these men are moving.
So we'll see. Cause they're pushing it. So I wouldn't be surprised something happens and they
Snap
fucking
election.
a snap election. And they put these or when's the next council and they start bringing more of these youth reform candidates, replace conservatives and replace. We'll see. But if that happens, it's getting closer to them. Them man are racist. So which direction everything's going in.
Yeah.
I think that our upcoming generation is big into social media than the old school voters, and then a lot of them are actually disenfranchised, leaving the UK as well. So you got like the children of wealthy Edomites that are leaving the UK to go to like Australia and other European countries.
Oh yeah, they said 1 in 6 Britons is born abroad, so that shows you there's a lot of Edomites that are ducking out.
Yeah, where Australia,
trying to find somewhere to flee to. But this is a prison planet, man. There's not many places to go. Unless you're rich. You can go to Monaco.
So like I was gonna say, you be speaking people from across the globe, and everyone's hurt. Everyone's hurt. You may be able to take your GDP over to their countries and live a quote unquote good life, but the people there, they're hurt too.
They're some of the same situations, man. They might have fed up with their own immigration policies and all that kind of shit. So you're gonna find out it might not be as bad in certain areas just yet. Hey, give it a bit of time. You're gonna be in the exact same position as you was when you left, wherever you left from. They're I mean that's cascading, man.
Revelation about our temptation to tempt everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
No one's gonna escape it.
Yeah, it's the same thing, man. The same crisis, man. Border crisis, immigration crisis, all that stuff.
I got one. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Yeah, so you see that so-called Stockport terrorist attack. When that dude just randomly decided to kill 3 children, just random. That was one thing. And then now you got this robber room thing that they're building up and making it into a big thing. That's really got these Edomites riled up. 250,000 girls raped by the immigrant hordes and all this shit. Like, you know what I mean? They're really gassing these men up, man.
Do you know how much 250,000 is?
I know, man. Hey, listen. I don't even doubt it. Because that's British culture is about fucking child molestation.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're gonna point that out, you gotta point out all the other molestation that's going on. The Westminster scandal when they covered up all them MPs that were involved in the paedophile scandal.
Don't be tunnel vision, No, that was but
you
better tackle it all.
Yeah. Because there was just the other day, there was like one group of it was like one small hat sect, and they had to rescue 200 girls and women, man.
Yep.
They don't talk about that.
Yeah, but it's convenient right now because it plays into that these immigrants and they're getting all the housing crisis as well. That's a big crisis. And then so they're like, well, how come man here are struggling to get a yard and these men are coming from Afghanistan and just getting a yard?
What's going on?
What's going on? They're getting mobile phones. That's how you know you're broke when you're complaining about that. That sound bad, man.
I got this is Revelation chapter 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
Yeah. So when you see these popularist nationalists being brought in under the guise of saving the country and reform, just know that these people are going to usher in more new world order tactics.
That's right.
You know, because what they've hooked up the digital ID, and they're talking about these prisons. They're saying they're already in America. They've already got private prisons that they're planning on building to put the illegals in. You know, the illegal. It's gonna be for the illegals. Oh, yeah, put them illegals in. And it's gonna be you. What they're saying about biometrics and digital to keep the scanning. Yeah, they're just gonna filter all that into taking away more of your rights. More, more draconian measures under the guise of it's to protect the border and all this shit. And Alex Jones and all them are gonna be pushing it, They say, the deep state, the globalists, that Joe Biden, he's trying to stop Trump. He's like, whatever, bro.
See, it's funny,
Outside of a Trump office.
Yeah, I know they come up, but they got all that.
And then they started praising the Tesla.
Yeah.
It was like a big marketing on top of it. Like, can't you see?
Come on, man. This is madness.
But I find it funny, these shows like fucking Alex Jones and that. Once upon a time, he was bringing out all these information about all the concentration camps and all that kind of stuff. But he'll be the same one to back all these new cities being built, right? Because for the illegals, right? But not combine those two things together. They're the same thing. They're going to be useful people in general, not just illegals.
Psalms 10 verse 2. The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let him be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not at all in his thoughts.
Yeah, these devils. That's another thing with these devils, man. They're godless, man. Oh, we're not allowed to say Happy Christmas. Bro, you ain't been to church a day in your life, bro. Why are you acting like you have a religion to defend, bro? You English people are not religious, man. Just tradition. What the hell are you talking about, man? These people are godless,
It's
man.
an excuse to drink.
Yeah,
And nobody's stopping them doing that. Nobody's stopping them doing it. It's just
godless. You know any more godless than the British. The only man's holding up anything to do with God in this society is the Nigerians, man. Where the Nigerians is hardcore for Jesus out here, man. When's the last time you saw an Edomite, out on road preaching the gospel?
Yes.
When's the last time you saw that? Like
That white broad in Stratford, man.
Oh, yeah.
Broad in Stratford used to
you
call
see these Nigerians out
She was
there.
Irish.
Jesus. If you don't want to go to hell, you need to stop drinking. Stop. Outside the station.
All the OnlyFans. You are your pussy.
Bro, these some of the Hebrew Israelites are aggressive. Yo, these Niger men out there, hella aggressive with them. These men are godless, man. They're godless as it comes, man. That's a dangerous combination. You've got these godless people feeling self-righteous.
Yeah, they're the ones that pushed evolution, man.
Yeah. They ain't gonna they don't fight against none of that.
Yeah.
They don't fight against atheism. But when it's we're fighting against Islam, because there's some brown people attached to that. It's something that you can get at. That's really what it comes down to. You're just a racist, bro. The fastest growing religion in England is not Islam. It's atheism. But them man ain't got no problem with that, man. But atheism don't have no morals, man.
Scripture.
Yeah,
Psalms 36 from the top. It says, the transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of Yahweh before his eyes. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes, until his iniquity be found to be hateful.
There you go. Esau flatters himself in his own eyes. So then the funny thing about these people is they're talking about how civilized they are, but we're about to see them be the most uncivilized people you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's why we've been warning our people. The apostles, man, they always said this devil's going to show his horns.
Yeah.
That's right.
This devil is going to show his horns. You're going to find out how much hate these Edomites have in the heart for you Jakes. Because the time of Jacob's trouble, it's going to be a lot of these everyday Edomites killing Jake.
Yeah.
Roman and yeah, gosh darn it, them dudes. These men here, yeah, man, yeah, get them, yeah, they're going to be out there trying to get busy.
Yeah.
And you saw that with the last riot that happened. They cornered the one Jake.
Yeah,
or the
just
guy,
beating him down.
beating him down. Then as soon as he raised up, they were like, "You're right there, mate." Like they just looked and took back to normal.
And they're going to put more batteries. See, right now, they're building up the hate, but they're pussy at the same time. Because they could have come to London and really start something, but they kind of scared of Jake too, innit? They need a lot more pints and a lot more cocaine.
100%.
But that's why Esau's going to have more events happening. You're going to start seeing like a random immigrant just did some craziness. You know what I mean? You're going to start seeing it. Some MK Ultra Afghan.
Yeah.
Just grab a 3-year-old and just chop their head off outside Barclays Bank and flipping, something. And oh my God, people are going to lose their minds. And then they're killing us, man. Got to do something. Some Jamaican dude to do some madness, yardie, some crazy schizophrenic. And then they're going to point to that. See, look what these people are doing. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. And then that's going to get these men more hyped up to go and do something. And then they'll probably have some agent do something and he'll be a hero. Oh, yeah. And you know how the thing goes. These men start copying it.
So the guy that the New Orleans guy, one of the things I found interesting, he looked like a regular Jake. He looked like one of them Jakes that was just like on, because when you see the pictures of him, he just looks like a Jake you work with. And that's one of the things they're building that image of it can be any of you.
There was a lot of, I see on the Twitter thread, a lot of people saying, I don't think this is the right guy. Like initially, I was like, nah, they thought he weren't American like that. So when they see him, it's like they felt like it's someone they would have bumped into in the supermarket, and just would have said like, "How's your day going?" Had a little chit chat. Oh, you need to do a real talk. Like
it breeds distrust in society.
That's it.
Because everyone's questioning like who's who, what's what. And it creates that friction.
Well, how was that journalist up in his yard?
Yeah.
How was a journalist doing an MTV Cribs in man's yard, man's a terror suspect?
Tampering
That whole
with
yard, like, you fucking, this is like, bro, who's writing these scripts? Who's writing this script? Everyone knows that in any crime, you need to have that yard locked off so that you can get the forensics. So you can find out who was there, what is there. If you let a fucking camera crew in there, they're fucking, they're contaminating the fucking scene. They're compromising the whole investigation. There's no way in a real investigation the fucking journalist will be in it doing MTV Cribs. Oh, look, this is where. Oh, it looks like he was making a bomb here. Wait, hold on. What's going on? That's how you know the whole thing. It's the psyop, man.
And at Fort Bragg, they say that it used to be known as the psychological faction or arm of the military.
I'm not surprised. I think 3 of them have had a connection to Fort Bragg.
The other guy that shot Trump as well.
That tried to shot. Yeah.
So now it's like they're picking up on, okay, this Fort Bragg, we got like there's a lot of people tied to it. And that guy, they said he went. Sorry?
They got lots of these compromised MK Ultra people that they could just send out there to do some stupidity, man, and get people riled up. They got niggers, they got everything. Ready to unleash, and they'll do some stupid shit. Just like put a flag, some kind of flag in the back of their vehicle or whatever. Oh, see, or some bullshit manifesto.
Always a manifesto.
Some bullshit.
They said that by the guy in front of Trump's thingy tower. They said, why has he got his passport with him? I'm sure if you're driving from one state to another,
you don't need a passport.
You just need your driving license. So somehow he blew up everything, but somehow he decided that I need to let you know my passport.
Yeah, why are you taking ID?
When you got in a blaze of glory, just jump out, 2 guns. Do you know what I mean?
Pass is one of those things that needs to be in the crime scene, bro. You know what I mean? Like 9/11 happened and pass is by.
They said the gun didn't survive. With the passport
crazy.
date.
You know,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
gun
like,
disintegrated.
That's crazy. As in the gun didn't survive. What?
Disintegrated. Yeah, the gun disintegrated.
The
I'm
gun.
sure the
Yeah.
magazine's made out of steel as well. If it's a Glock, it's plastic, and the magazine at least, or some components of it
Yeah.
is made from steel.
they need to
You
make it
talking
out of
about-
paper, bro. But
They didn't even well, passport papers.
Wait, the gun. So in which one didn't the gun survive?
The Trump
the
Tower.
Trump
I think.
Tower.
Yeah.
Was he in the truck when it blew up?
No, he put the car in front and he put fireworks and explosives inside.
Fireworks.
And that's where Elon.
That's a scene out of Batman, bro. That's a joke.
And that's why Elon was saying, you see, if it was anything else, because it's a Cybertruck.
Shut the fuck up, man.
To go Psalm 144 and I'm sorry, from 7. Send thine hand from above, lead me and deliver me out of a great water, from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their light hand is the light hand of falsehood.
Yeah, that's Esau, man. So like we always tell you, so much of what you see, parts of it's real, part of it's manipulated, man. Now you can't trust anything. You know, they'll tell you there was a driver, there might not even been a fucking driver. They could have, the damn truck could have just drove itself there.
It can do that.
They could do that. You know what
They
I'm
said
saying?
there's a £500 setup.
Yeah,
that
there
you
was
can buy
like
out there.
remote control.
Hey, look at the guy that did that shot the CEO. First of all, we don't even know if that guy's really dead. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. That guy could be wherever Epstein is right now, just chilling. You don't know if he's really dead. Secondly, the CCTV image they showed of the dude does not match the guy that they arrested. I don't care what no one says. Doesn't even look like the same dude. Yeah, and then on top of that, why would you go do a crime like that? Yeah, and you're flirting, bro. Did you know? You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm about to go. Really, I'm my back. First of all, no, wait, hold on. First of all, the reason he's upset is because his back's fucked for back surgery. But you just fine. You're just fine. You're just walking around ready to go like the Punisher, but you've got a back that's so fucked up, yeah, that you're ready to put man in the dirt for it because your back's fucked. Yeah, but you're just cool. Yeah, and then you go to plan to put this man down for good. Bro, any person that planned anything like that, yeah, knows no face, no case. This is known, like, no face. But you're just like, oh, you just pull my face mask down to flirt with this random woman that I'm never going to see again. Even though I'm about to put in work. And like, what? How does it make sense, bro? You just wouldn't happen. It's just the whole thing's stupid. It's bad writing. Like, so they have an excuse of why they found him. It still made no sense.
And it's like with the initial way, the way it happened, you think everyone's like, this guy's a professional. They're never finding this guy. This guy's in Mexico. This guy's in
left the back.
But it was like, and then it was just like, you know, the biggest gnashers just on the
Yeah, like, just like it was
I need to
smiling
see
for the
that
camera.
girl, man. I need to see that girl.
Looking like
You did. Like smooshing the fucking bra. Like what was going?
It don't make no sense. Like if you've gone to the point where you plan to go murder someone like that, you be focused on that.
Yeah, your mind's on that.
Yeah.
You be focused on you're about to go put in work like that. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be smiling up with no girl. You just get what you need to get and move like the Terminator, man. See the corner. Them would say it there. You don't want to be pulling it down, smile for the camera.
Can I grab this because it's that whole thing's kind of bred something. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 16. So for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power.
A lot of people are inspired by that.
Yep.
Guy. They're like, yeah, they start taking out, you know, these
CEOs.
these CEOs of these companies and so on and so on.
That's why they keep showing pictures of Trump holding his son, because they're like Trump, Elon scared. I said Trump, I meant Elon, because he's always holding his son now ever since then.
Oh, he's trying to make
Human shield, basically. He's a must.
I got a preset.
Yeah, that whole thing was spooky. Man.
Yeah, style.
And that Edomite, he do the background, and he don't seem like the kind of dude that would do that. Man.
Yeah, he's
No,
from a
you know what I mean?
he's a very wealthy family.
Yeah, like, it don't sound like man. Man, we'll just go get a surgery somewhere else, man. Man ain't gonna just roll up with a blicky and just start airing the whole place out. This didn't even fit his character, but you know, Esau, you know. Yeah, go on.
This is Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou contendest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
Because right now, listen, man, my Twitter's fucked, man. Right now, these men are on Twitter and they're just painting Jake as the devil. As they're saying that Jake is the devil, basically. That's the prevailing theme among Edomites online, because online is where they could be themselves. They can hide behind these avatars. And it's like, yeah, these black people, they're the problem. The problem with America is the so-called black people, these spics, these immigrants, these illegal aliens. It's them. They're unreasonable, they're violent, blah, blah, blah. They're the devil, basically. What we're going to find out is when all is done and said and revealed, you're the devil. So you were the devil the whole time. You're trying to point the finger at everyone. No, you were the devil. Show yourself. And that's why you're going to be destroyed. Your civilization is going to get destroyed. And then you're going into slavery. And the Son of the Heavenly Father himself is going to come down and make it happen. So how can you deny you're the devil? You can't even deny it. God is actually against you. The Most High is against you, man. He hates you, man.
That's why the truth being revealed, man, because it's going to be evident.
The man of sin, yeah.
The evidence all going to be there for everyone to see what's what, who's who. You know, because a righteous nation like America surely wouldn't be destroyed if it was righteous. But it ain't. That's why it got destroyed.
That's what it's meant to be built up as well. You know, being that righteous nation. Yep. But then how they conducted themselves. Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
That's right.
Yeah, their own tongue to fall on themselves. This is funny because it's the same playbook that's been used by Esau for like decades on end. Only really with the like smartphones, the internet, where you got the avenue to kind of question these things. Before something will happen in the 80s, you go to the footage, you've got like 240p video, like this small, murky as hell. You don't know what's going on. But then now you got where it's like, anything happens anywhere in the globe. You go to the Middle East, these guys don't have rice, in their fields. Their chicken is starving. They've got an iPhone. They've got the latest Apple products. Man's got the iPad, man's got everything. The baby's there, his belly's full, but he's tapping the iPad watching Coco Melon. So that's how, so everything's caught, and then everyone's on the internet. As soon as anything comes out, information's flying free. So now it's like everything Esau does, it can be exposed. Any BS gets exposed like in no time flat.
And I'm glad you say it's the same playbook, because going back to the Native American Indians, a lot of them atrocities that these men said were happening was the Rothschild agents and that. They would do that. You got to have an excuse, right? So it's, okay, the Indians, they did this. But the man didn't do nothing. Yeah. To get the man them riled up so they can go and kill. So it's nothing new. The idea of a false flag or doing something, setting something up here, and then blaming it on the other side that you really wanted to kill. Like you said, it's a playbook that's been done over and over. October 7th, another example of that.
Man riding that into the sunset.
And they milk that, they ring that out,
legendarily, bro.
It's not the right to defend it.
Of course they can defend themselves. Of course they can.
Yeah, they've been doing that, man.
Then that should apply to everybody then, isn't it?
Yeah, they did that with 9/11.
Yeah.
No, man, they're annihilating more.
Bro, they would have saved so much. Like, when you really think about what Esau did, none of it made sense. So you're telling me a band of Arabs hijacked a plane and dashed it into your building, and then you went on a multi-billion, trillion-dollar warfare that cost you way more than you lost. Make it make sense.
and it was just when you needed a nice war to kind of justify your entire.
Bro, something like that could have just been a covert team.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, we're gonna get these, the Navy SEALs covert team gonna go find who did it, clap them, and come back. No, that man went on a full.
Well, as if these men from Saudi, they wasn't run the plane into the.
They were from
South-
Saudi.
Yeah, they were from
and they could
Saudi.
see how good trade deals with them.
Yeah. Like a decade plus, like what
Grain,
kind of-
oils,
Yeah,
all good over
The
there.
whole thing is insane, but they again 9/11 whipped the people up into a hysteria. The military inductions are all-time high. Pat
Yeah.
Tillman's leaving the NFL to join the military and all that. You regret that when you got clapped in the head. People are now people don't even want to sign up for the military no more because it's played out. So they need something else to gas man up,
Righteous.
to get man to sign up. Yes.
Isaiah 19:14. The Lord Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
And you can see that every area through the corruption and the disease, every area, even in the entertainment area, the NBA's dying.
Yeah.
Everything's dying, man. Everything's watered down.
Football, yeah.
Everything's just like, and it's them, man, that fucked it up. You didn't want to put in all kind of stupid rules, like all kind of madness that's making it less entertaining, is that defeating the purpose. I want that. Maybe that man did a full strike just now. Yeah.
It's another
These men have messed everything about America's messed up. The entertainment industry is messed up. The education system. You go on the internet, and it's not just America. Plenty of teachers just leaving the school system, and they're giving detailed reasons as to why they're leaving. The kids are out of control. The actual education processes don't work, and they're not really designed to help the teacher teach. You're just there dotting I's and crossing T's, but the child ain't learning. So much about the system. You can go on it, they'll give detailed reasons of why they're leaving, and like you said, they'll try and go to another country where like Australia or something where it's still kind of all right.
Okay, yeah.
But Britain and America is known to be the worst education system for a teacher to be in, man.
Because I don't know which one you both said, but it's the parents don't help. I remember there was one clip I remember watching where basically like there was just a ballet thing, right? But basically the kids were being inappropriate. So the ballet teacher goes to the parents and goes, "Look, you need to discipline your child." And then the parents are shouting at the teacher.
Yeah.
That's like, wait, what?
It's insane. It's perverse.
There's one Instagram personality, some Congolese. You probably know what I'm talking about. Tommy something. But he was a teacher, and I remember he said, "I'm done. I'm not teaching." He said, like, "I tell your children behave. I go to you and I say like not behaving, then you cuss me out and give me stress in my life." So he said, "I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm not working no more. I'm not being a teacher no more."
That's a real thing. All you gotta do is go on YouTube. Got teachers from US, and then they'll link up with each other. Like a teacher from the US will link up with a teacher in UK. It's like, yeah, you're saying the same thing. You're having the same experience we're having over here.
Yeah.
Teachers that's been in the game for like 50 years is retiring. I can't take it no more. So it's falling apart in every way. And everything you can find is, and that's because it's rooted in wickedness, man, and corruption and evil, and that's why it's falling apart. You know, everything, man, everything's just going downhill, and it's messed up, and they papering over the cracks.
The worm spread under the.
Anything you could, I don't think of anything that's thriving in this society. Hell no.
It's only wickedness, really. That's like increase multiplying on itself.
Yeah, flipping the online prostitutes, like their game is up. That's about it.
Yeah, it used to be lit.
That's the only thing that's up right now.
I got a quick one. 2nd Esdras 5 and 8. There shall be confusion also in many places, and a fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
That's another problem, man. These fucking, because when you look up that word monsters, it means deformed, bro. There's a whole generation of fucked up kids. I've never seen nothing like it. When I was in school, you get that one spast. That's special. You get that one youth that's just like downs, bro. Now
Yeah.
When you're at school, I take my kids to school. There's a whole other school next to it.
There's a whole
That's
system.
just for them because it's just,
Yeah.
bro.
Special classes.
These kids are fucked. Like the amount of bro, there's so many autistic, Asperger's, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Deformed kids is on a next level that's never been seen before. There's ridiculous amounts of kids. Jake ones too.
Yeah.
You see the mother saying and all this stuff, and, man, and you just like, oh fuck, man.
You never really used to see Jake ones. I remember that. Like you're saying, they maybe have just been, in my experience, it may have just been like the one. Whereas like nowadays, you're seeing bare
Bro,
Jake ones too.
It's a flex now, bro. It's true. There's so many kids now that are born blind, born with all these deformities because this place is so poisoned, man. So poisoned, man. It's disgusting, like, and it's like people are acting like they don't see it, man.
It's funny, people were
They
saying as
normalize
well.
it, innit?
Yeah, it's
They
normal.
normalize all these things that are wrong in society. They normalize because we don't want to be exclusive. We want to include everybody, right? So they make it all normal as if that's science not wrong. But science is not right here. You know what I'm saying? Where's the issue?
That's a prophecy. Because before, for someone to be born deformed, it was rare. You know, like the Elephant Man, and then put them in a circus. Like, it's so rare that they all just join the circus. Man. You know what the circus used to be? It used to be deformed people like the Elephant Man and that, like doing their thing. Now they just John at the work. You know what I mean? It's just, man's a deformed man. 3 heads, 2 heads. You know what I mean? 5 feet, all kind of stuff. Cleft this, cleft that. It's true though.
No, the cleverness as well. That's like.
That's all
a lot of those
deformities as
things,
well.
like-
Oh, bare allergies.
Yeah.
Man allergic to every blood clot thing.
I got hay fever during the fucking pandemic, man. So I think a lot of people got hay fever for the first time. I've never had it in my life.
Bro, these kids are born fucked up, man. Man's never used to. I remember when in school, how many man you knew when like, well, you man are about the same age. How many man had bad allergies when they could die? Nobody, nut allergies and shit like that, man. I was buying up Snickers bars and all that. Now you gotta be kidding. Now they're not even allowed in certain schools. You're not even allowed to bring nuts. You can't put certain nuts in the schools or in the lunchbox because there's so many damn kids that could die in the damn school. Man, open up a Snickers bar and that's it.
They were sometimes in the old school desk. You remember the old school desk? You have
It's just a big fucking
licorice,
That's it, man. You pop that Snickers bar, man, or some of them are M&Ms or some shit. Coming like a sign.
Oh shit!
Hey, but that's what it is. Even throughout the world, and that goes. A lot of that goes back to the nuclear testing as well. Esau and all these nuclear tests and radiation. So you place that Vietnam, Japan. Japan's got a lot of fucking monsters, you know, because of all the bullshit they did over there. Hiroshima and all that. Iraq. See them kids over there with like looking like a demon, but they come out like with wings and shit, man.
I got a quick one.
Yeah, man.
She was about 13. Her name was Hannah Jacobs. She bought hot chocolate and she died.
Yeah, that's why they put stickers on everything now.
It's a real quick one.
Mom was trying to sue Costa, innit? But something like she was meant to tell her about the allergies. She never said nothing or some shit. Some crazy shit. Crazy. Just watch out for Costa. She never had it. She never had it.
Nah, bro, I'll tell you a real life story. Like, bro, the Lord had mercy on me because I had I took my like my little cousin, innit? Like my cousin's you. And I took her out to fucking Epping Forest. And we were just out there having a good day. No one fucking told me she was allergic to nuts. Nobody. I had no fucking idea. So man's out there and I bought some peanuts, yeah. And I'm like, oh, you want a peanut? And I gave her the peanut, right? And then she was like, and then spat it out, innit? I'm like, you all right? Bro, her face started swelling up here, but I'm in the middle of fucking, you know, you at the top, the hill where the rabbits are. And it was like, bro, my heart's pumping, yeah. And I'm, bro, thank your heart by Hashem, she didn't swallow it. Because if she'd have swallowed it, she'd probably be dead right now. Probably be dead because obviously It was
Yeah,
airway.
yeah,
Bro, I'm in the middle of Epping Forest,
Oh,
man.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Well,
But no EpiPen, no.
it would have had to be a helicopter thing that would have come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, it's mad. So yeah, it's real, bro. You got to be careful when you get other people's kids now. You got to check.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't tell you, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro, it's a real life thing.
I got a quick one to back that
Oh.
all up. Matthew 24 and 22.
Mm.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be
Yeah,
shortened.
man, we'd all be fucked up, man.
Mm.
Imagine,
Oh.
you know, going on like this, man. You can see what you know, the progression how things are going.
Yeah.
Right? You know, Esau would just destroy all life, man.
Yeah.
Everything we so fucked up. Like it's not back, you know, how things were back in the day, man. You gotta be careful with everything. Everybody can't even drink Costa. You know what I'm saying? You think you're just intolerant? No, it should kill you, man.
Bro, you can't have children
Yeah.
because you're rolling the dice having children now. And it's nothing worse than having a deformed child, man. That's fucked. Like you got an autistic child or
That's hell.
that's or you know whatever is wrong with them. You know, have to look after that you know fucking for the rest of their life, man. I know mans I've been. I remember one guy. He got one of them kids, and the kid's just doing bare madness, calling the police on him, and man, like he was suicidal because he's like dealing with it in his house, stress. Bro, it's insane, man. I'm trying to find the rates. I'm sure the shit's gone up heavy, man.
I got scripture. Can I read this one quick? Yeah. Psalms 82 and 4. It says, "Deliver the poor and needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course." Yeah,
So Esau destroying fabric of life, man. Like everything he touches, he destroys, man.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, we're talking about people. We're all about the animals. You know, everything has been affected and infected by him. You know,
There's even we went to Corfu Castle. I remember they were talking about the veg they used to have back in medieval times, where they said they had some of the seeds, and like they were just way like they were bigger, they were richer, they were more quality, like more nutrients in the food, and that's kind of like just all aspects of life, just like how food's kind of waned and decayed. Same with the body as well. all these kind of aspects, and Esau's had like a multiplying effect on it.
Oh, well, can I get this real quick? It said birth defects, which, like you said, that's literally the definition of a monster. That's actually monster's a medical term. You can look it up. Birth defects have been increasing in recent years, with some factors that may contribute to this, including maternal age,
which is a philosophy Esau pushing.
on
his women.
pushing, and economics. There's a lot of these women that people can't have a kid because they're broke and they're waiting. I know one. I know one dude. He's at work telling me, we have to choose whether to get the house first or have kids. We got the house now, but she can't have kids.
True.
Real talk. So man's got a cat now. And, yeah, so I'm not even joking. And this cat is living the best life because they got money now, innit? They got the money in the house, but she can't have kids.
That's Abraham, only one to
choose.
inherit my
You start talking about this, like if you talk to someone, someone that's got kids, and you talk to them about their kids, and they start telling you, oh yeah, they did this the other day. That's how a man will talk about it with a cat. So you bring up a conversation to do with that cat, that's it, man. The next 15, 20 minutes, I got home and they were doing this, and the cat was looking at me. Bro, shit, man, this guy really fucking replaced children with cats, but a lot of it is economics too. There's a whole generation now that are like, we can't afford to have kids. Because how much is it a year for a kid? Like 20 grand or something like that?
It's insane.
I mean, it goes up every year.
Yeah.
Especially if you're both working full time, it's peak for you.
Because you got to look. One thing was it like how much is nursery nowadays?
£800 or something.
But per child.
Yeah.
So in certain situations, like it doesn't even make sense for your woman to work in certain situations because
It works against you.
it works against you.
Yeah, it's Satan, man.
Because 1600, that's what
That's why the birth rates are dropping in London too.
Yep.
It says parental blood relation. Oi, okay, let's get
What?
that's like family remnant.
Wait, that's increasing.
Yeah. Environmental factors, smoking, drinking alcohol, taking certain drugs, exposure to lead, pesticides, radiation, all the stuff that's just around us daily, man. Medical conditions like obesity, diabetes, that increases birth defects, medications, and I didn't put the V on there,
Yeah,
but
they said the same.
That's yeah.
but you know,
That's already
yeah. So all these things you multiply it. That's sort of now in the modern day, man. Like people don't realize that it used to be in the 8. That's why they was like, oh, it's a monster. It wasn't that prevalent to have someone born with a defect, man. You know.
Yeah.
Now it's like that's a no. It's much more prevalent to have someone born with like an extra leg, 2 heads,
Extra toes and
like someone with 2 heads is a monster, bro.
Yeah.
But that's a normal thing.
now it's just what do you call it? Size
Extra penis,
yeah.
double vagina. This bitch is walking around with 2 vaginas,
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Some with both, like vagina and
Yeah.
could
That's
impregnate
crazy.
themselves.
Damn.
man.
What's that? That's about.
Hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
That's what that's about. Someone said vocabs. Yeah, go ahead.
Book of Isaiah 54 and 4.
Oh man. Fuck yeah.
The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languishes and fadeth away. The whole people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defined under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's the situation that we're in now. Everything is being defined. Heard I've been saying, the environment that we're in, the mindset of the people as well. All this are bring down the what? The condition of the people and everything.
Yeah, there's a Western lifestyle where people basically poison themselves to death, beginning with their in their youth. When you're like a teenager going into so-called adulthood, you're like promoted that the way you're supposed to live is in absolute drunkenness and partying and best. So you think about what these people are doing with themselves. So by the time they're like 27, they've literally destroyed their body with bare alcohol, bare drugs, bare smoking cigarettes. Then you're gonna go have a baby, man's sperm's defiled, man's eggs are defiled. You know what I mean? Because it's all in your body, man. All kind of metal, heavy metals and all sorts.
Destroyed your blood, destroyed your genes.
You know what I mean? Like, no wonder
Because you will give that code to the child. Your genetic codes are fucked up.
you're
Man.
all messed up.
You know.
You're the women that get them plants stop themselves and getting pregnant, and then like for years their cycle goes off and all of that. Then
all that stuff affects you, man. So it's like, because even them dudes, I'll give you an example. The guys that came back from Vietnam after Agent Orange and from Iraq, their children are all fucked up. Their children are fucked up because it's fucked their sperm up too. So you think of it. Imagine if you got it from both ends.
Oh,
And then, you think about all the, the what was it, Fukushima plant that went down into the ocean, right? That don't just affect Chernobyl as well. That don't just affect Japan. What was it? Is worldwide.
Yeah, they said it was. They said it was. Then they start dumping the irrigated water.
Yeah, the roads.
And then everyone else was complaining because they're saying, "Yo, it's flowing."
Yeah,
towards
it's full of
the
cycle
country.
because they got the water,
the
currents
fish
and shit.
migrate.
Yeah, right. And so we eat these things, and we process all these things for our body, man. And it has to have a fucking negative effect. It has to.
That's how they tell whether an art is fake or not, because of all of the nuclear testing, they're able to see how much radiation was in the fabric.
That's crazy.
So they actually know if it's got this much radiation, then it was from this particular point. Therefore, it's a real.
Yeah, Esau was exploding nukes in the air and shit, like just testing them.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's a demon, man. Like, think of it. Yeah, this guy's irresponsible as hell, and that's why the cancers of everyone's getting cancer, man. One shape or another, man. I remember when I was
1 in 3.
1 in 3, and that was when we was in school. They were saying 1 in 3. I don't know what it is now.
You know what it is? Because you know what they've done, right? They separated all these different cancer types now. So they'll focus on individual cancers, and so the numbers don't look like they're going up because they kind of divided it between this cancer and that cancer. But these cats fucking
Yeah, you gotta
everyone's
put
getting
that on
cancer.
camera,
essentially.
man.
Everyone's got
That's
some sort
Some
of
of them
cancer.
aren't even called a
Yeah.
cancer. They'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a kind of blood cancer, so it has a specific term. But then it's you know, all
Man,
the
are getting testicular cancer, all kinds of shit, colon
Prostate
cancer,
cancer,
yeah,
lung cancer.
all kinds of shit, man. But you put them under the one category of cancer, bro. Everyone's putting one's got cancer, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like putting 1 and 2 now, some shit. Like, some craziness.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. According to cancer research, there's been a 5% increase last year, from 2022 up 346,217 new cases.
Wow. So I wonder if that had anything to do with the shots.
Oh yeah, and then the thing is the blowback from that is gonna be like it doesn't mean that because you took the shot now that you're gonna get cancer now. You could get that in 5 years.
Yeah,
10 years, innit?
Don't for a while.
But they might not attribute it to that. Innit?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't attribute shit to none of it. You know what I mean? Anything was going on, it was never nothing to do with that, even though it wasn't fully, looked into.
Yeah.
It's
The
insane.
thing
Man.
is, normally, if there's like, there'll be places where there might be pipes or something in a particular region where it's like, oh, there's a poison guy in the water. So then, from the follow through and that, they'll kind of know it. But then other times, you could have come through the town, stayed there for a week, and then like had the poison shit popped up.
When
They wouldn't even-
it takes so long to appear, like it's hard to trace back where it came from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so hard to find that, and so man can deny all kind of accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, could have been this, could have been that, could have been anything.
Or it could
You know?
just be in a third world country and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just pump that shit right directly into their damn.
Poor hygiene.
And
It's
it's
called poor
that, yeah.
hygiene. Man.
They don't care because they bring them factories and they just pump chemicals or
Oh,
Yeah, Coca-Cola.
that's what happened in was it West Virginia with Bucky Bailey, man. He was born, his eye was up here and his mouth was over there, and that.
that's
And basically, he
it's a
was born.
monster.
He was a monster. He came out his mother's womb because she was working in a Teflon factory.
Oh yeah,
It's in a
yeah.
documentary called The Devil We Know.
Oh,
You
okay.
know what I'm saying? It's all about the DuPont family that
Yeah.
Yeah.
the manufacturing these non-stick frying pans and waterproof coating and she was working in the factory and then the
And the
baby
thing is-
came out fucked up.
Fucked
See, I
up.
remember,
Yeah.
I remember when you started talking about that. I've never seen nothing on like mainstream ever going into those things and warning people don't buy these pans or you don't hear about that stuff, innit? They'll just put that in the background and then they'll bring out some new pans or new
Shit, I
technology
need to
or
buy
whatever
some
the case may
ceramic
be.
pans.
Yeah, real talk. It's got us saying, that's the baby there. He's come out sugar.
Yeah, that's it.
Dude,
That's what it is.
yeah.
But that's what the scripture
Yeah.
was talking about. Menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Man.
That was him as a baby.
That's crazy.
When him grew up, his face is all jacked up, and
Oh,
Mm.
shit.
that's his face. That's him as a man.
But it's what you always say.
Adam's family thing.
Just match him up.
You're right.
Mash up his face.
It's what you always say though, Elder. But these companies know that the fine that they're gonna get is nothing in comparison to the billions.
To calculate the risk.
Yeah, what's it? Fight Club. Fight Club. There's a whole scene where he's talking to the woman on the plane, where he's saying, "Oh, if they'll calculate how much would it cost for us to recall all these different cars, and then and pay for how much they cost. Then they'll see how much would you have to pay out on average, on the amount of accidents, and if the number is higher for the paying out or lower for paying out for accidents, then they won't do a recall. And that's that was from the 90s. That was car thing. This is in medicine. This is in technology. It's every field, they'll just do a
So
calculation.
basically, they got
is
no
it worth
ethics, bro.
Yeah.
Because if you know that your thing could potentially kill one person, you should record that.
Yeah.
Because that one person's life is still murder. That's
yeah,
still, But that's why the scripture.
Even the 737 Max, they had to
Oh.
wait for 2 planes to drop out the sky before they did something.
Yeah,
And then
One
they
wasn't
lied.
enough.
Lied and
yeah, boy.
You got precept?
Yeah, go on now.
Romans chapter 9 and verse 22. What if God willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
Yeah, that's you, Edomite. Clearly, you're the vessels of wrath. I mean, what we're talking about is so destructive. It's it's white collar crime, but it's when you really think about it, it's destroying families. It's extremely destructive, man. And Esau just does it.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it, man. These pharmaceuticals, they'll bring these drugs out, knowing the side effects that they have.
Yeah.
it affects far more people than Jake on the street. Like you like to point fingers at. Esau doing things on the next level.
Look,
Yeah, I think the new one. What is it? The weight loss drug.
Ozempic.
Ozempic,
oh
yeah.
yeah, I heard
That
about
was
it.
getting super,
The government backing
super
that, innit?
fashionable.
They were backing that. The
But
government.
once you're
Yeah.
on it, yeah, you can't even come off it, innit? It destroys
Yeah,
your organs.
Damn.
Yeah, it destroys your
addictive, yeah.
organs. It's a madness, man.
Like, lose weight.
But then it's just
Yeah.
lose weight.
Like a magic weight loss drug, your ears should have been.
Yeah,
Bro,
Nothing's
like,
ever
what's
that
that
you.
doing to your body? Like,
magic's witchcraft.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Esau, man. He's Satan. He's definitely Satan, man.
I got a precept on that. Revelation 6:3. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
Yeah, someone was mentioning the other day, if they're so against all this carbon footprint, then the military is one of the biggest contributors to the carbon footprint. They'll cut back on the military. But they don't do that, do they?
Nah.
They go full steam ahead when it comes to
increase-
war
they
and
increase that.
destruction, man. And Esau's brought war and destruction to heights that's never been seen before on the earth, man. And that's him. He did that. He brought the nuclear weapons into play. Nobody else did that.
I see he was sending fucking spaceships to fucking into orbit and shit. How much the pollution does that cause?
yeah,
Unnecessarily.
they have sites like tracking the amount of space junk, and they said like within like 10, 15 years, it might get dangerous to like get out
Get
to
out.
space
So you hit things
because
like
there's so much junk. And it's just like,
That's
bro, this is
like Wall-E. You seen the
yeah,
Disney
yeah,
Pixar
yeah,
Wall-E?
yeah, yeah.
Earth surrounded by clouds of fucking junk.
But then that's why it's like this man really needs to be stopped, because how is it surely you're gonna have the foresight to think maybe we should, the whole way Esau's gets into space is like a bunch of stuff breaking up on the way, just floating there.
Don't
Like,
worry, but Elon's here to save us because he's got renewable rockets and shit now. You know what I mean?
Everybody's
He's here to save us.
Just having nuclear weapons itself shows Esau's an asshole because, like, the whole purpose of war isn't to destroy the planet. You're meant to just be defeating your enemy, and really, to defeat your enemy, you ain't got to kill everyone. War has never been about killing everyone. War is about killing enough man where man's like,
they
we
surrender.
give up. You know what I mean? And then you put them under subjection, and it's never really had to be everyone. It just needs to be a portion. When Esau's dropping these atomic bombs, you're destroying everything and polluting anything on top of that, where you can't even use the land that you've now conquered. That's insane. That's actually insane. And then they said to themselves, once they knew what they've created, they didn't say to themselves, "Rah, you know what? We can just find another way." You know what I'm saying? They were like, "Yo, no, we need more of these, and we need more powerful ones." And these are the fucking morally superior people. They got so much of these nukes, they even admit they could destroy the whole planet with them. Mutually assured destruction. Are you insane? Are you
Man is just
insane?
there, man. I'm holding a button, like, I'll do it. To each
And the
other, like,
acronym of that is mad.
Mutually assured destruction.
This is wisdom. This is Esau's wisdom.
Esau's insane.
It's not a wise person though, evidently.
That's insane, man. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Well, we don't need to imagine that. He's doing it, and people it just goes over people's heads. Oh yeah, he's got a whole bunch of thermonuclear weapons that could just wipe out the planet. Just he's maintaining them, making more of them, because he loves peace and he just loves the children. If Esau was a moral man, they would say, you know what, man, we could do this war thing, but we'll just do away with, we'll agree no one should use that because it's immoral. But they got no morals, man. That's why they can't trust each other. Because they know man would still use it.
It's Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil.
Yeah, man. Esau is the original snake oil salesman, man. Yeah, go on, man.
I'm just on a point. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, verse 19. When thou shalt begin to besiege a city a long time in making war against it to take it, Thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou mayest eat of them. And thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life, to employ them in the siege. So just like on the point, like, you know, like, well, even when we went to war against another nation, we considered it like the nature and preserve it, and basically like only really kill what was actually necessary to take out in order to seize the city. But in Esau's warfare, everything, everything.
Hiroshima and man just blasted that place, man. Destroyed everything, melted everything, and polluted the area, man.
And it was just like a place where people live. Like if it was say like you get certain, like let's say it was like a particular area where it was mostly military men,
Militarized, yeah.
then you could be like, alright, you know, overkill, but alright. But it was just where people lived.
Yeah, man went to work and then just got blown up.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what kind of mold?
Yeah, but you know what, man?
Today.
That's poetic
Justice, yeah.
because the same nation that was the first nation to use them is going to be the last nation that they're going to be used on, because the scripture says it's not going to, neither shall there be after, you know, that time. So it's poetic that America had to be the one to introduce, to open Pandora's box and introduce that form of warfare to the world, and they're going to fall by that own by that. You use, but it's going to be done in its perfection. Them thermonuclear missiles are going to destroy America. You can't say nothing because you're the one that brought it to the table. Great America.
This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury is upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them, he have delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all the hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from off the vine, and as a falling fig from off the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and the people, and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
So when did that happen, Volcam? Because he said the Edomites are done away with. So when did the Lord's sword get bathed in heaven and come down upon Idumea and judgment? When did that happen? No, this is prophecy. This is what's going to happen. No? American military is going to be absolutely obliterated off the face of the earth. And not just the American military, all the militaries of the nation. Every single last one of them are going to be destroyed. The only military that's going to be left standing is Israel's military. Then we're going to go around gathering up whoever is left alive to serve.
They even told you to see the great future judgment, even in the zombies. They even call it that themselves.
But you see, it's spiritual Edom, because right now the Edom it's not the Edom that's over there in the Middle East. It's where Edom is now. And our prime Edom is America. That's Esau's country. Yeah, we'll give you that. You can take credit. But that's your country. That country. And you know what I found about Canada? You know the funny thing about Canada, right? Someone was doing a thing like, if you draw a line of like where America is, right? And you know you see all this Canada. Most of Canada isn't inhabited because it's uninhabitable. Like I think like 70% or something like that of Canada is America. There's a part where Canada dips down, and they all live there.
Yeah.
I know the one. I saw it yesterday.
And they show you that most people, it's basically America, man. It's just there. It's in America. It's just most of Canada's uninhabited, so Canada might have to eat missiles too, just for good measure, because it's the proximity. Just lays that up because it's only a little bit. Just do that as well. Why not, man? Blaze up. Blaze up.
Well, Trump is saying he wants to take Canada.
Canada might as well just be part of the United States. I didn't even know. I thought,
Mm.
you know, there's a whole country that is. Nah, man. They're literally all pretty much right there. They might as well just be part of America, man. What we doing
Rondo
here?
in the NBA, man.
That's what I'm saying.
And NHL as well. They got loads of teams in National Hockey League.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
what
more or
I'm
less
saying, man.
part of America, you know? 'Cause that's, you're saying national, but it's a whole different country. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm fucking about, man. Kind of fuck Canada, man.
So it's even even when you look at like country codes, when you're dialing abroad, it's got the same country code as America, +1.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
That's what the world's heavy reliant on oil, right, to run their machines, man. You know, before that wasn't never an issue. But this is why America wants to keep all its oil reserves. That's why America wants to control the oil in the world and stuff, right? Because it's a big part of war, right? So if they get everyone to spend to use up their oil reserves, that they got a greater advantage. That's always sort of been about the hegemony. They keep their reserves and reduce everybody else's. They got a greater capacity for warfare because they can fuel their machines.
That was the whole thing with World War II, and the proof that what they said happened never happened, because all of that fuel, all of that coal was being used for the war effort, right? All of the coal to fire up the tanks and stuff like that.
The Blitzkrieg was the whole. That was what bringing Europe to its knees.
Mm.
The Blitzkrieg. That was what made them lose in Russia as well. The line was getting away too far from the supply line.
Yep.
The front line. So it's all about fuel, the capability to have tanks, and that was something that was into like even the 90s. Like tanks were like core to warfare. It was only really from like the dust storm. I can't remember or whatever the hell.
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm. That's the one. Where it was like air superiority and whatnot became more of a thing, and that's like you going into like the more modern wars.
And even for that, now you need even more fuel. 100%.
Verse 19. I've jumped down to this point. It says, through the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire.
A lot of your body is fat.
Copperhead. Like, that was the nickname they had for humans. Like in the Matrix, they looked to them like battery.
Fat burns, isn't it? Fat burns, man. The more fat in your body, the more you burn. Them oils, man. You put the right temperature, that body will add to the fire, man.
American diet.
Yeah. That's it. It's fun because that acronym is SAD, Standard American Diet.
That goes into Isaiah 19 before about the fat being put on the altar. So, lamb, share the ram,
I'll go to you. Back in Isaiah, because that's the last verse. Back in Isaiah 34 and 6, it says, and the sword of the Lord, Yahweh, is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness. And with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh have a sacrifice in Bosra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
What? Trump ain't gonna stop it. Elon Musk, who's an immigrant himself, he ain't gonna stop it. Alex Jones ain't gonna stop it. They ain't gonna save America, man. We done told you. There's no saving America. America's gonna go out in the worst way, in violence, because that's what the scripture says in Revelations, the 18th chapter. Thus, with violence, Babylon the Great be thrown down. You know, and rightfully so, because it's disgusting, foul place. You know, I was talking to the elder before, man. You go through these channels that document these different crimes that happen, man. Some of the most heinous, disturbing shit you ever just can't believe human beings. so the foul family too, foul and
I was gonna say it's like it might be their own kid, might be their mum.
yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there a couple where they killed the dad or something because they wanted to get together and he was in the
Oh,
way,
man.
and then they were like bragging about it on TikTok after.
Oh, it's great. I was watching today. The youth fucking went straight from a Tinder date, or whatever it was, some batty man date. Just went up in some 98-year-old woman's yard and raped and strangled her to death. Some 90-year-old woman, man. And he said, "Oh, I just wanted to feel alive."
Even in ancient Roma on that man was just
Oh yeah, that dude was wild, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. America's filled to the brim with people like that, man. Just insane demons, man. You know, all kind of molestation. Other one I was watching, the one guy who was telling you about, he was a counselor and he was running on being against pedophiles. He's got TikTok videos. It's like, you know, and they got pedophiles living close to schools, this, that, and the other. Then they found out the bro was fucking his stepdaughter, man. Bro, it was wild. And then he's all in the interview, and they caught him, and he's like, man, and I was gonna do so much good, and now I can't do it. Some real perverse demons out there, man. You know what I mean? Parents killing their children, children killing their parents. School, you know, it's just, you know, yeah, young people just murdering each other, man. It'll be over nothing, over the slightest of
over a
things.
tip. Oh,
You know?
She stabbed up the pregnant woman in front of her 5-year-old 14 times because she tipped her $2.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Perverse, the valley of the shadow of death, man. Just unreasonable demons, man.
what?
Yeah, she came back with a nigga.
Yeah.
And they were all black masked up, and the nigga just in front of her 5-year-old just 14 times.
Come on, man. That's demons, man.
We spent more than $2 in fuel to get there. Like, come on, man.
Crazy.
Spirits, man. Spirits in the book.
Babies and ovens and all sorts, man.
Malachi chapter 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wicked shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
And it's pride, man. And all these Americans have pride. Because no matter how messed up America is, man, it's absolutely messed up on every level. All these men still talk about how great it is, and they still uphold it within their heart. The majority of Americans uphold America like it's better than everyone everywhere else, and it's just the best place. And that says a lot about you. Yeah, that's why you're gonna have to burn with it, man. Because that place, it's insane, man. The rest of the world, yeah, there's bad things happening in the rest of the world, but some of the stuff that's happening over there, man, it's like, it's this place even on Earth. You don't want to believe it, like shit, like. Sometimes you even see some of these people on the, you know, the super ratchet people. You're like, is this real? Like a mother will be there with her daughter. Yeah, man, motherfucker. You just like, are these people real? Because I've never seen people like this in my life.
Can these bones live?
It's elite level ratchetness, bro. Just
America is definitely a beacon, light of world, no way.
Then they'll have a full-blown fight in the living room, the son and the daughter, and the motherfucker. And you're like, yo.
You know, like Judge Judy, the man are suing each other over fucking couple dollars, you know, a couple $100, some shit. Stupidness, man. Suing each other like that.
You know what I'm saying? Even the drug cities, man. You see them them clips. They go down them streets. You see all the crackheads and that. I mean, they got crackheads everywhere, but in America, it just looks bad, man. There's bare zombies on the street, just yeah, man. It looking like remember Last of Us?
Yeah,
You make a sound, they might just come alive.
Yeah, the bloaters are there.
It's different level. Then you go out into the rural areas with them Edomites, and it's nothing but flipping meth head families, and everyone's fucking the daughters. It's just it's insane. It's insane. Them trailer trash Edomites, bare incest, and meth.
It's just bro, no one even knows what they're getting up
Edomites don't like to talk about them. But it's real. They're out there in the suburbs and they're all on meth.
Ain't there a joke about Norwich as well? Don't they say Norwich is a lot of incest there as well? They always make jokes about how they got webbed feet and shit like that. In Norwich, yeah. Yeah, Norwich, yeah. Right. But these are the same Edomites that will curse out these Musliminas for dating their cousin. Yeah.
You know, looking at
Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Power for her and take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment has reached unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies.
Yeah, so that proves it. That according to prophecy, it's not going to be healed, it's going to be destroyed completely. The man is about to go home.
sick. They're sick. You know, terminally sick. Yeah. Right? There's nothing worth saving. There's nothing worth saving in that place.
The nuclear is going to become a lake of fire, man. That's it. They're not coming back from that. Once a place turns into lava, you just got to leave it alone. It's irredeemable. But that's because it is. And it's going to be a memorial for afterward anyone that would dare be as ungodly as America is, as hypocritical and as ungodly as America is, man. We're talking about a nation of people that wholesale slaughter babies, gay marriage, like just boredom. You know what I mean? Like just the worship of materialism, consumerism, off the charts with consumerism, vanity. You know, that is what's represented by the so-called American way. Capitalism. You know, do whatever you got to do to be rich. That's all that matters, is getting to the bank. Ethics don't matter. That's why they're the most of the people that's on social media doing the most weird ass shit for views and likes to get money, man. Just being goofy as hell. You're like, yo, people got the shame.
The minstrel shows, man. Like Jake has basically gone back to now streaming. It's just like a minstrel show, but you're making a show of yourself.
He's doing embarrassing shit, and these man become millionaires. And you're like, whoa. And you're like, but still, I'd rather be me than that. You look goofy, man. You know what I mean? Just doing goofy shit like Kai Cenat. Goofy.
That's crazy. Try and basically get off of that Twitch platform.
Yeah, 30 mil. And you watch a lot of the shit that man are doing. It's embarrassing, man. I don't want to be known like that. You know, just be a clown. Man shoving their crotch in my face or some shit like that. for views, man. Hell to the fucking views.
For holding the door. For the bag.
No borrows, no everything.
It's crazy.
What's his name? Speed. You know what I mean? He has to do a lot of fuck shit. It's like, come on, man. Ain't got no dignity, but people ain't got no dignity. As long as they can get views and like, they'll do and say whatever they got to do, and because everything's justified. If
Not looking
it's
crazy.
and then, again, that's the American way, the love of money, capitalism. You know, if you can sell some drugs, who cares who it kills? If you become a millionaire from it, it's justified.
There's so much good that we're gonna do afterwards.
Nahum chapter 3 and verse 4. Because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, save the Lord of hosts. Now discover thy skirts upon thy face. I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. All right. Yeah, so that's America rules, you know, with its witchcraft, man. Witchcraft is a big thing that they use in Babylon the Great to control the people, to pervert the minds of the people, you know, through their entertainment, you know, going into case and that. All of these live streamers all of a sudden, you know, that's real big over there. Entertainment, bread and circuses, man. You know, and that's how they rule.
And that's picking up carrying the mantle of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Broad streaming is now the new thing, broadcasting. So same, like you said, it cost itself 70 million for him to go to a different platform. Why would they pay him so much money? Obviously, there must be an incentive. Like he's gonna present something to the people that the masses of the people could buy into.
Yeah, which is basically the foolishness of porn stars. That's what they do. They just bring a bunch of porn stars and OnlyFans on there, and then they sprinkle a little bit of celebrities, and they just do absolute insanity. And these kids will sit there and watch it on stream. It's a live stream. They'll do like a 7-day live stream and just watch them do foolishness. Never learn nothing. Your brain's just getting destroyed. And then it came out, their management, they're all basically managed by the same company. So it's just basically an extension of Hollywood. They're all being controlled. Kai Cenat, Speed, Mr. Beast, all these guys, man. They're all part of the same agenda, man.
Well, kids, that's to get like, because now it's like they're saying kids don't watch TV. Like TV, cable, all that shit is dead. It's like YouTube, Netflix, and then really for like the young kids, it's YouTube. Because they even have like YouTube Kids for under 13s. Same for Instagram as well. Instagram, they said they're gonna do Instagram Kids. That's what like young kids are using. So that's what they used to rope it in.
They have all them man on there trying to get themselves a girlfriend.
I was gonna say, well, it's like Instagram Reels. I don't even use it. Then the first time I jump on it, all I see is just 2 booty shaking videos. I was like, bro, what is this? But then I was like, they know the demographic. It's like no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the
It's like the deprivation, right? Going on the platform, you know, oh, it's straight BB, what do you call it? BB, it's like, what the fuck? I don't, you know what I mean? It's a controlling you to me, you know what I mean? To it's simping, make you just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of that, right? BS, man. Fucking BS.
could have been researching something or whatever. And all the like ads or whatever on the side, just be some ass shaking or whatever.
You know, we got AI chicks on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
They've actually got AI. He looks like got loads of them. What the fuck is this? That's what that leads to. BBLs and fucking AI chicks. That's what like cyber chicks. That's what the chip the market for. Right.
Yeah.
You know now they got AI brothels now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Actually got AI brothels. Demolition man. I can see them making robots with real life BBL. fat and then they inject it into robots. Like, real humans don't feel. Hey, so when you start fucking BBLs, that's like it's transferable. It was just like a
They have the
BBL.
goal, isn't it? It's an emotional next step for them. That's it.
So yeah, some of your legs. Stick on the circle.
You already got that down to the science already, man. They got all these AI robot movies coming out, Subservient on Netflix and all that. And the guy's always having sex with the robot, man. Always in love with the robot. The newest one is the one, what's her name? That white thing that used to be married to yeah, she beats the white dude, the Latino dude, and all that. He falls in love with her and shit, and she tries to kill the whole family.
Robot pussy. I've seen it.
That's what's going on.
Yeah,
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
I've told them back and forth. I said, listen, man, that's about. It wasn't just about women being in order. There's just BS. It was about. It was a control. It was an order of chaos thing.
Right wing government.
Exactly. The destroyed the birth rates. It's part of the Georgia Guidestones, New World Order agendas. So that gave the excuse to do that. To say, okay, look, man, that's what they do.
And they said they were doing it to save America as well.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That is an excuse. Oh, well, look at what's going on. Okay, we're going to come with, come on, man.
Movie Children of Men. You know, when the birth rate was next to nil.
There's a lot of films. That's a good film. Children of Men. And what's good about that is it focuses on the UK. Goes to the UK.
There's another film as well, Portrait. The one that played Highlander.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to have a baby outside of, against the law. In that film, when they go to prison, they get chipped.
Right.
Remember that? And then it explode if they go past a certain thing and all that.
Yeah, the
Portrait. It's a good film, actually.
I know that. I know exactly.
I know you know that
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
That was the same thing. It's like a dystopian future where they're controlling birth rates and all that shit.
So that's a beautiful point, man. The scripture says we got to show where the prophecy, right? Someone back something up on deck on that, Uncle Shah. But it just shows that all this stuff that's happening, all these like the symptoms and they're just putting in what they want and what they're gonna do. That's all it is. Oh, this happened, the symptom. No, it's happened because they planned it. But they're planning what the Most High was already written. They already set up to do that. So there's prophecies within prophecies. It's like you're in a movie, you're in a TV, but you watch telly, and then you might watch telly, and they're watching the telly in the telly. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's kind of. Go on.
Yeah, Habakkuk chapter 2, Habakkuk 2 and 3. But the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end,
The vision is yet for an appointed time. We do with visions, the prophets would see things, or you could hear things. You hear. That's all in the scriptures, hearing stuff, seeing stuff. That's on the right hand side. You know what I'm saying? And there's words for that. You know what I'm saying? Clairvoyant, clairsentient, which we actually means to see clear. It's not a demonic word. Just like the Illuminati is not a demonic word. So if you do it on the left hand, that's what they do. They ain't got nothing. The spirit ain't dealing with it.
They got imagination.
Right.
They got images in their mind and say, yeah, let's make that happen.
But they can't really see clear because they can't see the whole picture anyway.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they know they were going into captivity.
Well, they know that though. Trying to fight it. So the elites. But that makes them special devils then. yeah. Special devils. Special devils. Exceptional devils. But you know what's gonna happen. And then you say, well, you know what? That's crazy.
I can talk my own thing. My own destiny.
Yeah, that's why that's why they push that now, the secret.
James Cameron had a vision of nuclear destruction. Terminator.
Right. I'm surprised.
He said he had a vision, a dream about nuclear destruction. That's why he put it in there.
James Cameron. So
Wasn't it James Cameron?
He said he saw that when she died, yeah.
Cameron and them, like, They're all about that. People don't even know that those politicians are like they're all about the end times to do all that. Tony Blair's always talking about net zero and shit like that. He's always talking about that. Come out with it, Tony Blair. And he's not in office. But then when he comes out of it, you start doing things gonna happen like this. But then the fucking actual public, he's not giving him saying that's how they do his deceptions, right? The serpent. So he's bringing in the new. Think about it. The electric cars are in. They didn't ask you about that. When did you get to vote about that? I don't remember that. Unless it was a local council thing. But no. Right, the infrastructure of the beast, the electric shit, that's just been pushed on you. You've never had a fucking choice about that. When's been the choice? Someone.
I got this for you. This was from 3 weeks ago. Tony Blair calls for rollout of digital ID to tackle immigration.
That's 3 weeks ago. See, this is spirit ID. You don't even know about that. Get that, man. Do that again, up, bro.
Tony Blair calls for rollout of digital ID to tackle immigration, spiraling NHS.
Digital ID for the immigration thing. Now, we already knew about that immigration stuff. All of a sudden, through COVID lockdowns and all this, everybody's a truther. And through the immigration thing, that we knew that was a planned agenda, man. Years ago, we knew about that.
Yeah, CBDC. Yeah. All
Right.
that shit, all that investing in
But see, that's
crypto,
the excuse
Bitcoin,
to
all
use
that.
it. The Western countries, we got invasions. So,
You actually believe that shit is real money now, right?
And this came about during World War II, and that was a temporary contingency. So now you can't go nowhere if you ain't got no passport. You can see what Tony Blair presented is something that's going to be the next step. So,
and the two what the scriptures talks about, in Revelation 9 talks about the 3 woes. Out of every one of them woes come an important systematic change. You mentioned the passports, the NATO come out of World War II. I think in World War I it was like the League of Nations. So there was it's a precursor. So they were setting it all up. It was all set up. So you know what I'm saying? So the third World War in their head is going to bring about what I don't. But they got to set it up before that, haven't they? Because well, why that? Why is that? Because they know this time the Lord's coming back. They know that this plan, which was put in their head by the Most High, they know this plan. The Lord's coming via this plan. They know that, right? So they put it in the. That's what they put it in the movies.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
These are around Rothschilds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's Sirach 34:1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow.
So obviously the elite, the lower level people that have got that spirit, but the highest level of having a vain imagination is the elites. So the Lord activating us. We're different to the general public in a way of where we've got prophecy, we've got understanding. We're following the Most High Spirit. We're following what they call God, right? Yehovah Shem Yahshua. We're following His wavelength, what He's saying is going to happen. But they either indirectly don't know or they're bogged out, whatever. But the elites, they know and they're still booking up. So the point is, man, the Lord, that you got to thank the Most High for giving you this truth, man. You know, because every other path, like the scripture says, every way, it leads to destruction, it leads to death. You know,
and followeth after the wind. Following dreams like chasing the wind. You know, the wind bloweth wherever Can't do it.
Yeah, so, and the many kingdoms in that, the Greeks, they all had the plan, they had the vision, they had the might. You know what I mean? The ancient Greeks had, they had the, you know what I mean? They had the armor and all that, the tactics. These things take, you know, the tactics, the training, the mindset, the writings, all of that, right? And then the Lord takes empires out quick. All that time to build an empire, but then the empire just goes out quick. That's crazy.
The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? And from that thing which is false, what truth can come? Divinations and soothsayings and dreams are vain, and a heart.
Well, by the way, the nations all operate after that. They all operate after that. They have soothsayers to guide them. You know, monthly prognosticated daily. I want to know. You know what I'm saying? But we operate of faith. We operate of, we know, but we operate of faith. You know that ultimate outcome. But these are what, like, basically, they're like, it's do as thou wilt, right? They're sidestepping prophecy. Their own destiny, my own outlook, my own outcome. The Lord ain't dealing with that, bro. How about some outside is not dealing with that? Everything we're talking about is prophecy in the scriptures. That's why all this bullshit, all these false flags, we ain't got nothing to do with that, man. Okay? We're just reading the Bible and waiting for the outcomes of the Most High. How about that?
Get that little bit against the word.
Talk something against. You know what I'm saying?
Both sides, you can send the angels to come to see. It's testing you, you know. So you have to be privy to these things. Or you're taken away by these false dreams. So
that's how he concluded our time in the Exodus, going into. And he said, "These years I have tempted your heart." That was the proving ground, basically. And then what happened? It proved certain people were worthy to enter. Even Moses did. How deep is it, man? Moses didn't even get to go into the king on that occasion. That's how deep it is. Man. You got to see it, but so you got to think about those things when the Most High does these things.
That's true. That the power side came from. See, you know, it just shows everybody. Just have that one slipper.
Yeah.
Bloke could have excused that, but he didn't. It's like, well, you ain't go. Remember that shit? I mean, I don't mean to use it for that account, but I mean it to be saying it was in my head the other day. You know, sometimes things are hit. Like, remember that? We got an A game. We ain't coming on that stage. I was trying to fight me.
Come on.
I was one of them dudes, isn't These are the high wheel races, the discomfort. The Lord put him in the spirit realm and shit, man. That's crazy, bro. But they had that shit. You ain't got to come with the A game. Get it on that stage. But you know what? My point is that we've got mercy. Because even King Solomon, man, he went up. You know, he came back and, you know.
This is why it's all about the elect ultimately. They've been chosen from the foundation, right? So they weren't made perfect. So they made mistakes. You know, but that didn't condemn them from, you know, prevent them from receiving the promises, you know, given to them.
No condemnation.
That's it.
That's why we say believe in the Lord, sincerity and truth. It's been the flesh, but as long as you're sincere. And you know what, man? The wicked try and justify the flesh. You can't win going by the flesh. You can't actually win by that. gotta win by the spirit, you know, it's gotta be, you know what I'm saying? What we got? Right, what we got?
A little bit more, and then this verse 6. If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. For dreams have deceived many, and they have failed to that put their trust in them.
So you can't go every dream. Can't do that, you know what I'm saying?
That's the shit, hey, he had a dream. Then they made his congregation eat pork, man. Oh shit.
That's actually a good example of you gotta stick to the scriptures to it.
Oh, that's the next one. I'll just read this.
You know what I mean? You gotta stick with the scriptures.
Own understanding.
But like you said, the elite, they do on the left hand side, they got their own seances and their own dreams, and the demons tell them things. And they think, oh yeah, okay, if we do this, we could, you know what I mean? We can, you know,
Right,
we
so,
could achieve
so
this.
setting them up with the AI, drones, the bugs. So if that was happening, that's gonna get you proud. You're gonna think the demons are that, and he enhances the AI and it's like, whoa. And then, you know what I mean? You're gonna be that's in spirit, you're gonna think, whoa, I'm powered up.
And look what the computer now, or that you can got now. Yeah, you got a new chipset.
That's the one they say it's
You
like
know,
they're gonna be breaking down
formed up
everything.
and shit, man. Them demons are charging them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like the obvious. That's how it is. I know we get confident with the gathering, but the day don't work. You know?
You're scratching it, huh?
That's in Isaiah the 47th chapter. You know, stand down in that chapter.
Let's read this last verse. The Lord shall be found perfect without lies, and wisdom is perfection to a faithful mouth.
Then he said unto him, Come with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For it was said unto me by the word of the Lord, Thou shalt eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn to go in by the way that thou camest. And point being in verse 18, he said unto him, I am a prophet also, as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, Bring him back thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came back unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, but camest back and hast eaten bread and drunk water in this place, of which the Lord did say to thee, Eat no bread and drink no water, thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread and he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, the prophet whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way and slew him, and his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass. So basically, long story short, the prophet was given an instruction by the Heavenly Father to go through the land and not eat, but he listened to the false prophet that the false prophet that basically instructed him that it was all good and he could basically dine with him rather than following the direct instruction of the Lord and lost life. So
what was that?
First Kings,
yeah.
Which one? So Isaiah 19:3. And in the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the council thereof. Talking about the higher ups, the Illuminati and all that. It says, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to wizards.
We always go into it. We always go into it. You know, the witchcraft and the societal control through these kind of principles and stuff like that. But you know, another side of it is they're using that to actually believe that they're going to win this shit. They're going to try and win this shit. You know what I'm saying? Through that. That's what they're doing. But that's why, you know, bros are going, they got bunkers set up. They're really scared. So that's what they clutch onto. But we know that Satan is a double agent. And then we know them things are going to wear off. We're going to have no answers. And the scripture says that. When the mutes hit, and if things ain't working out, they might do something. A demon don't appear. They'll do the put the things, the ritual, and then you won't turn up. Yeah.
Because them Magi have power in them. But when the Lord brought them faith, they didn't have no power.
It's like, what is it, Daniel, when he was asking what is this dream? They could break down a dream. It was, you know what I'm saying? So when the Lord just like, the Lord will take that power, like, it's not working. I can't do this, I can't work this out. That's what's happening, bro.
God, both sides are giving you these demons to assist you in your wicked endeavors, man, to bring about your own destruction. So once that's done, Lord's gonna recall them. They're gonna go back.
Intelligent, so they're just playing the game on you. Just trickery, really.
That's why you got to call them Lord. The scripture says the demons fear and tremble. That's power. You know, everyone talking shit about the name of, you got to have the name of the Lord, bro. The ancient names, Yahweh, in the name of the Son. That's it, man. Yahweh, the name of the Father, and Yahweh Shai, the name of the Son. Okay? And then the Holy Spirit, man. Which you had some niggas that tripped out. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just tripped out about that, man. Y'all are fucking clowns, man. I don't mean to, you know what I'm saying? Fuck it. What are you playing at, man?
Where in the scriptures does it say that you can worship the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit? The apostles just read it blatant in Matthew 28, the Great Commission.
Right.
It's like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? You said you can't pray in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Bug out.
The scriptures talked about the Holy Spirit. Talked about the Son. He talks about the Father. All the time. What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? So if you put them together, why can't you can't put them together, man?
In the same video, it said the Holy Spirit.
The Heavenly Father is known as the Father of Spirits. Okay, cool. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
You have to do a whole video on that for the Lord killing, making alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because unless to even talk about the UFOs, you got UFOs and you got drones, people are like, oh, I don't know what's going on. So all this confusion, but you know, when it comes down to the Most High, you can find that He controls everything, even the deceivers. So there are UFOs and there are drones. So it doesn't really matter. It can come.
Bro. Trippy.
Ain't got a Wi-Fi connection? Come on.
He's controlling the He's gonna make, he's gonna make sure they hit where they hit. And they are the Lord. So all that technology drones are the Most High. So how do people don't know the Lord put a death angel on a drone to kill someone? Well, really, that's what they are. That's what they're asking. The drones are death angels. Because especially when they got cracked up with guns, super soldiers and all that, that's left hand side spirits.
Yeah. Part of those armor.
Right. Esau's his sword, right? So anything that happens on that, he's getting control. He's doing his job. So that's why he prays to them demons and shit. Because he's doing his job, man. What's up?
AI now where they can pretty much falsify false imagery. So then now it's something they like, like something happens miraculous. Oh no, that's just AI. No, Esau's just a demon, man. You know what I mean? Like trying to muddy the waters, but at the end of the day, truth is gonna stand. Because when Yahweh Shai comes back here, okay, it's a drone. Must be AI. You get burned up. Yeah.
I'm telling you, the colony showed that. The colony showed that, man. That was a dope series, bro. You gotta watch it, man. The colony on Netflix. It was all about. I remember I spoiled it last week, but everyone was controlling it.
Yeah. They weren't allowed out. Yeah. Yeah.
It's going into what you were saying, basically.
You might have taken it off though, I think.
I'm not going to say it.
Verse 40. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies and reward them that hate me. That actually reminds me of Apostle, Elder Apostle Freedom, the year of
This year.
sorry?
This year.
This year, yeah. Judgment, I forget how.
Call it the DDG instead. Forget.
Okay.
Yeah, our deliverance,
Yeah.
destruction, and judgment of these. That's called DDJ. I know.
It makes it easier, a lot easier. But basically, that's what the Heavenly Father is saying. He's going to take hold of judgment and render, just where his sword and destroy everything, man.
That's the only way we're going to get out of there, man. One can't happen without the other. We need all this evil to happen, all this madness, people to get slaughtered, massacred, and all that. Unless we want to stay here.
Well, that's the account in Second Ezra's, man. About the fire on the left, water on the right, or the other direction. Like, if we don't go through, then how are we going to get to the city? And then righteous shall be scarcely saved. Yep. In order for us to be delivered, the judgment has to come, which is the destruction. That's how it will happen, coincide one with another.
Like the apostle, is saying it's just not left for family already. The battle strikes, Empire State Building, rebuild, Washington Monument getting struck down.
Can't wait.
Is knowing who is done.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
The average person don't know, but we know.
Yeah. With Esau, that's a big part of him. Even with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Esau made sure that the U.S. government went over there and took these guys out. The destroyer of worlds. So it's the same thing when the Mosai is now coming through with judgment. It's then going to be known the name is being done on. Because even because as far as with that whole spirit, now what the name? That's been a contention. There's people say, Mosai Christ bless. That's all going to be. We're going to see. Is there going to be a chariot shooting laser beam saying Mosai Christ bless or not?
What's the password?
It's okay, but that's like you got a precept. Said about knowing who is done by, right? We can magnify the name of the Lord. This is Ezekiel 36 and 21. It says, "But I have pity for mine holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen whither they went. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye
hold being done for the name's sake, and for what to be known among the heathen, known among the whole world." As far as that's something that needs to ring out. Same thing with what Hosea chapter 1 and 10, with knowing who the chosen are. who the Most High has put his name upon, and then what everyone knowing the judgment, who the name has been done on. And that's basically going to wash out all of Esau's BS, all the lies, all that he's been doing, pushing. That's going to be forgotten.
Guys,
Scripture.
guys talk about you don't have to exalt the name. You guys are crazy, man. What the hell you in this truth for, man?
Yeah.
Imagine Moses went to the Israelites and said, yeah, someone sent me to save you, but I don't know his name. Jake would have just been looking at him like, what are you talking about, man? Like, come back to the plantation. Yo, the whole path right there in front of him. He had to have the name, show forth that power. So when all them plagues come again like now, be like, yeah, the Lord did that. The Lord killed all those thousands of people over there. How about should be outside? And people fed.
Can't be even when he presented the name, but the Heavenly Father gave him power to unlock to the name.
Show that. Yeah.
Like he showed him this, put your hand
Serpent,
here, all that. So we're gonna do this. That's why it says the righteous shall be willing. Power. That's it.
That's one of the things when you read the scripture, and it's found it very beautiful. When it refers to how it always says living power, the living God. And then when it's referring to the idols, it's these dumb idols and stuff like that, because they have no power, you know?
And even the key men that to the power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they're the power. How was it said? How Shai said it? About they still live. I can't remember.
Right.
But they still live. So it's never everything that deals with this word is living. It's real.
Yeah.
It's reality. It's all this other stuff, imagination, vanity, soothsaying, nothing to it.
He said, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 27. Saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone thou was brought me forth.
That was Israel, man. Jake, you know, times past. Even to this day, they're still going on. Trusting in that wooden stone, thinking that's going to deliver them. And now the new wooden stone is going to be Esau and that Michael see it, man. They're going to put their trust in Egypt. It's going to be their shortfall, their shortcomings. And they're going to take that sea-hip technology, pledge allegiance to these devils, and they're going to get hit with nuclear fire, man. Because those idols, man, are not going to deliver you in a time of Jacob's trouble, and definitely not going to deliver you from the missiles, man.
But they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us.
Time of Jacob's trouble could be this new H5N spreading worldwide right now. Trying to get China back involved in it. You know, trying to get them cases up so they get that fear mongering again. Yeah. But people be like, oh no, we need the jump shot again. Need a new jump shot, and people start dropping dead again, man. You know? But that's part of the deception of this devil, man. Talks about how he have Second Thessalonians, how he will deceive the people with his wondrous works and wonders.
It says, verse 28, but where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble.
He ain't coming to save you. He ain't gonna answer the call. You know?
Second Thessalonians 1:6, man. The Most High is not mocked for that which a man soweth shall he also reap. Yeah, it brother read it. They turn their back to the Most High and they face toward it. So all of that will be sold. That's why I said in Proverbs 1 as well. When I extended my hand, and when your fear and calamity come upon you, inshallah, the Most High he ain't gonna feel no way because you've had plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Because really, this world is circling the drain. We're just seeing the same shit happen over and over again, just as it goes down to the bottom.
These people need an ass whooping.
They do.
Let's be real about it. Listen, the Lord, hey, all that judgment, that's the terror of the Lord. So we have to be with that. No matter what happens, we have to understand that this is all the terror of the Lord, man. Exactly, man. You know, you have to be with that, man. You know?
Touch you.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Because we're doing this work, that labor of love. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said He's going to protect His men.
Angel of
When
Lord
these
and
people are,
comfort.
yeah, when these people are starving out in food, God said, "My servant shall eat." You gotta have that faith, man.
Yeah.
He even mentioned in Psalms 110 and 3. The day of our power, our people shall be willing in the day of our power. So when they start seeing men, you know, doing certain things that's miraculous, that spiritual power is going to come as well for certain brothers, man. And these people going to be like, you know, y'all need to follow these men like they did in times past, like the apostles.
And the thing is, it's appropriate to remember when Yahweh Shai come, he said he come to heal, I forget how it words.
Sick.
He came not to send or bring fire down from heaven, but to cleanse the lepers. So now, when the enemy cometh in as a flood, then shall I lift up a standard against. So we're gonna get that. It's time to bring the fire down. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna have it like the Avengers assemble, but on the right hand side, or you're gonna see brothers do some out of this old shit. It might be like Neo and them dodging bullets, and like Yahweh Shai moved away from getting cast over the face of the mountain.
Well, it's like on the left hand side, the left hand is raising right now. So the Lord is also gonna have to raise his right hand also, man. The balance.
Psalm chapter 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord Yahweh, or Hashem Yahweh Shai, encampeth around about them that fear him and delivereth them.
Archangels going to have to come out of the heavens to come and protect the men. Talks about Michael, the archangel, coming out of the third realm, man, fourth dimension, come and support and you know protect the elect. So it's gonna get very political out here, man. It's gonna get very murky out in these streets. Be a lot of death lingering in the air.
That judgment, that's coming for the unbelievers, man. Remember the scripture speak about what the incredulity that them troubled to speak against him. All of these people, their shit's marks, bro. Set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sign and cry. That's who the Lord's dealing with. People that are like fed up in this place that want to see this place done. That's us. We're signing crying. So the Lord's gonna have his protection, his hedge of angels around those that fear his name. You know?
Which is John chapter 6, verse 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
Power in the words, man. And that's what these people don't seem to understand, that the power in the word alone is manifesting everything that's happening on the earth right now. The Lord said it's going to be earthquakes in diverse places. There's going to be uproars of the people. And it's happening, man, just by his word. Does it show you the power of the pen is mightier than the sword, as they say, man. The pen is mightier than the sword, man. And the Lord gonna show that in these last days, man. That all these doubters and feigners of the word, you know, they're gonna be held, you know, they're gonna be looking stupid at the end of this whole deal.
Second Ezra's 8 and 50 from 50. Jeez, yeah. So for many great miseries shall be done to them that in latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride.
Yes, get ready to see a lot of starvation, great famines, you know, a lot of pestilences just running rife, people just dropping dead all of a sudden. A lot of that, man. Close people that you know, close people. You know, people that are of the world. People are gonna start, bodies are gonna start dropping, man.
Yeah. What do you think it means when you put curses up on this place? Man? When you put a curse up on this place, what you're saying is that you're down with the judgment of the Lord. That's what you're really saying. You're saying Shalak Rayam. You're saying send them curses. So when these people get fucked up, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? We ain't sending curses on brothers. We ain't sending curses. You know what I'm saying? We pray for each other.
They call us the prophets of doom.
Right.
Right. Because we want judgment. That's what the word doom means, to bring judgment.
I was going to say, Yahweh Shai said in the city, go to a house in the city that will not receive the dust of your feet, or that city will be better for Sodom and Gomorrah in that day, better than for that city. And the one brothers are cursing out like Babylon here in London. You know what I mean? There's only nothing but harsh judgment.
Well, look at all of the chief places of concourse. We all, you know, from apostles on down, that's where we were teaching. And then look what happened to them. They're all done. They're all dead. Finished.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 4 and 9. Death and the bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood.
Just like you said, the judgment's created for the wicked. We ain't gonna really worry about it. We just gotta see it. Pray that the Lord have mercy upon us at the end of the day. We don't know if they're part of the hopeful elect. That's why they say the hopeful elect. But we don't want to be proud and say, well, they're elect. Now, the Lord don't like pride, innit?
Galatians 4, chapter 1, and I was made for the wicked. Like the Lord only made for the correction of the wicked. So us entering into the faith of Slucky and the grace of Yahweh Shai is like an easy thing. Like the elder was going into earlier. We deal with like we're not perfect, man. Moses, Yahweh Shai, when he was Solomon, these are examples of trying to go by the law. But now when we go from schoolmaster into that of grace, all right, that basically shows you it's more fitting to us. But then you have certain people who jump like IUIC, but the law.
Yeah,
You're condemning yourself, man.
It's a lack of understanding.
Yeah.
Really.
Lord perfect, man. That so-called renowned men of the scriptures, like we just gave examples that couldn't keep the law perfect. They're still men of the Lord, but that shows you that we all fallen short, man.
And then that's why these people, the 2/3 of the wicked Israelites, them not coming to the faith of Yahweh Shai, the grace and his mercy, that's why he's gonna get judged, man. Because you basically moving his hand like saying, I don't want that. I'll just, and even if you're not going to the law, you're just not dealing with, you're bound by it. When you go into Exodus 24, when the blood of the covenant was spilled upon our forefathers, it said, this is upon you, and even ones that are not here, they'll be bound by it as well. You know, Lucy paraphrasing. Yeah, so you're bound by it, like whether you like it or not. You did going against Yahweh Shai, you're gonna get judged accordingly, man.
Bro, because these bodies, it's possible to keep the law perfectly in these bodies that we have. It was always ordained that it has to be changed to get us to the law of perfection. It has to be changed. You can't fulfill the law in this body.
That's the proof of the sin that sin that dwelleth within.
Guys talk about the second covenant. We ain't under the second covenant yet because we're still under the law of sin. So we get that perfection in the new body, and the Lord's put on our inward parts. We ain't gonna be under the new covenant. We're not under the new covenant.
Yahweh Shai.
Destroyed.
Yeah. Come on.
That's how you come in. You all that talking. You know what I mean? These scoffers. Yeah, you know what? And then you just go, well, what about that? How about that? You know what I'm saying? What? Still get hit by a bus. Still trapped in a heart attack. What about that? Israelites a lot die in the truth, but then was he elect, was he not? Well, obviously, when brothers die, you know, you give them respect to the teaching. Even if they're in another camp, unless he was a wicked dude. You know what I'm saying? If he's, you know, one of them other, you know, man, the both sides took that dude out. You know what I'm saying? But just the, you know, you might get one cat who's in a, you might be cool. You might think, you know what, well, just give it, you know, he's in the spirit world. You just say he's in the spirit realm right now. What's that shit that you in the new covenant? That's BS, man. And a lot of y'all guys are carnal, right? That whole spirit of, because this building, this temple, that was the temple spirit. You carnal, you're thinking about the flesh too much, man. This, nah, man, that's BS. Because matter of fact, when you get in the chariots, you're not even gonna go with. You're gonna be changed. You ain't taking this. All the points are, you know, you're leveling up and all that. Well, you want the scriptures tell you to level up in the spirit. Your niggas level up in the world, your diamonds and all that, and all this, right? Right, that's all BS. So niggas in the Israelite realm do that. Oh, I've kept up this amount of laws. I've got this, you know, when my temple over there, I got fringes on the roof, and we keep every, We keep every Hanukkah and all that. Come on, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's carnal, man. That's carnal. Okay? Yeah, man. First,
First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh.
we said the Lord said that. Oh, look. So everything we're saying is backed by the scriptures, man. And that's what the scripture said. The word is in us. The kingdom of it is within us. Yeah. The kingdom of heaven is within you. How about that? We're the kingdom of the elect, whether they're going off or not, whether they're like slipping up. They are the kingdom. How about that? How do we break that down then? Get Sakari Hood that he'll do a 2-hour video stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? But either points he agrees with, but not everything. So you might agree with that. The kingdom of heaven is within us. All right. Like King David, he was a special man of the Lord. He slipped up, but he's the foundation. This thing, man. Huh?
Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
Right, so remember the corruption and incorruption, we're going to change. This ain't it. This ain't it, basically, man. This ain't it. You can't boast in the flesh. The flesh, the whole, like, what y'all got to understand, man, is when in the beginning, basically people were perfect, and then sin came in, and then through the flesh now, you're just going to die. The scripture says the sting of
The wages of sin.
Right, and there's the one where it says the sting. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. So you can't, this flesh, yeah? Use this flesh, you sacrifice this flesh for the spirit, and then the Lord is going to reward that. So the Epicurean mentality is, I'm in this flesh. F the most. This is what they're saying. I'm an atheist. I'm a liberal. I do what I want. So what they do now is just do anything. Take all types of drugs. Do all types of sex acts. Sit in the coffee shops, waiting for the next slithering mischief that they're going to commit. Or wherever they're at, wherever part of the world they're at, you know what I mean, doing mischief. No. So that's what's going on. Epicurean spirit, man. Oh, it felt good. It's the buzzes, the hits. Oh, yeah. Where's the next bar, club? Where's the next free car? You know what I'm saying? Fleshly shit, man.
It's the vibration of the whole earth. So, yeah, carnal, even with New Year's, people just, I see it like people just carnal as hell, man. You know? Joy and light, joy and light.
The more you do, the more you need to do to get.
Yeah.
Where they want, they might start off, these people, they probably ain't done missionary in the last 7 years of their life, man.
When that lockdown happened, the people, the drugs were up. They were fucked.
They were.
Oh,
People
yeah,
committed
people
suicide.
out, bro.
People
Yeah,
committed
people,
suicide. Like, people, there's all sorts going on, man. They got mental health, started this lost job, and went on the fucking mental health thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, got anxiety. It's like going to the doctors.
Yeah, they couldn't even live together in the same house.
Right.
Like partners where they're breaking up.
Partners.
Like, don't actually like them.
Right. So what was actually going on before that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I noticed? When I'm riding around London, right? I'm just using this example because I'm down here. A lot of the people that come here from these other places and shit, it's all buzzing. But it's all buzzing. But when shit slows down, they don't know what you can see. They don't know what to do with themselves. So when there's loads of people, it gives them that buzz. It's the drugs. Yeah, you know what I mean? They go in a club, they don't know no one. They might tongue kiss someone, then they don't speak to that person again the next day.
What you find is So we find there's a lot of people can't be in their own thoughts. They can't be in their own thoughts, man. It's like you leave them alone, then they start to start thinking.
That's exactly what you know. We just see him like because it kind of got a bit quiet because of the New Year's and stuff. So you see pieces walking around. You got zombies, man. Shopping. You know what I'm saying? They got, you know what I'm saying? And they got to live normal. They got to shop and walk down as the bags or whatever. Tesco. It's crazy, man. Go ahead. What we got? Oh, yeah. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. And we're gonna get them new bodies, some Superman bodies, man. So I'm saying that's the truth. Abilities to read people's minds, abilities to lie, control the elements and things of this nature. Basically everything, you know, many most highs, like the apostle said. You know, because we're the Lord's children, so He wants His children to have fun. He's gonna allow us to have fun in the kingdom, everlasting. You know, we're getting whipped now, boy. You know what I mean? Get out there. What you doing on that? You know what I'm saying? And there's no help. You know what I'm saying? You look into your parents, they're getting whipped. They're pressing you, they start pressing you. You know, get whipped. Then society ain't helping you. What the fuck? Then you must get over it. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, but then you get over it. So the trauma, no, it's BS, man. We're getting the fucking pressed. But the Lord is gonna allow us to, you know, to live forever. A quick one, yeah. Philippians 3.
No, I was gonna say something on living, because you have that concept in society where it's like they treat going to heaven like it's gonna be boring, then going to hell like it's gonna be fun. And that's like, but that's reflective of Esau's philosophy's mindset. Because for them, the fun is all the wickedness they can do. They think, oh, well, I can't go and just, you know, do drugs or do this or whatever. But then that's the thing, is because they don't have any life. If you're not doing that, what have you got in this place? But then that's the thing, when you get to the kingdom, then we're actually going to have life. We're going to be able to, even the basics. Over here, it's like we were talking about earlier. It's like you have a kid, they might come out just messed up. They might come out bugged out, man. All kinds of physical defects and whatnot. In the kingdom, you're not going to have to worry about them things.
Philippians 3:20. For our conversation is in heaven, from whence we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua Mashiach.
That's why, like the brother was going into all the shit that we got to deal with, you know, the misfortune stuff in the kingdom. We ain't gonna deal with that. That's why we're looking for that kingdom, man. No, you motherfucking Epicureans, man. That's why you get judged. Y'all, you know what I mean? Did you see what just happened out there New Year's Day, man? Some crazy ass shit. Like there's stuff going on here. I just some of those graphic ass videos. Brains on the floor and all that. See, it's happening. Come on, bro, it's happening, man. We in that time. Yeah? We're in that fucking time, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You go old school spirit, you know what I'm saying? Pump back up again, man. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. This shit going down, homeboy. All that whipping that motherfuckers be getting, man. Well, fuck y'all niggas, man. This shit on. How about that, man? We ain't gotta be all caked up, nigga. Cause this shit's happening. Fuck you talking about, man? Like, says that like the wages of sin is death. That lifestyle choice, when you don't believe in the Most High, you talk shit about Yahweh, Yahushua, you talk shit about what you call God, right? Jesus Christ, that's what you. That leads to destruction. It leads to judgment. What do you think the flood of Noah was all about? It said wickedness waxed on the air. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. It's the same now. You can't connect with these people, man. They're on a different. Think about it, man. That's why it's not. You wonder why it's not going down. It's not going down because they're on a different frequency level.
Yeah, they are.
Whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua Mashiach. He shall change our vile body that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body.
Our bodies are sinful. So even just that, our mindset when people deal with us, oh, what's up with him? Like, there's a lot we're dealing with. We're dealing with heavy things. That's what we say. Oh, that's heavy. We're dealing with heavy things in the spirit. So know that your own body is like decrepit. But they don't think like that. They're proud. Selfish. Yeah, you know the glory and you don't know that. The glory in the flesh. You know that. Obviously, you can't like completely destroy your own character. We don't do that. You know what I mean? That's not the fucking point. Niggas, saying that. We're strong about ours. You know what I mean? We're strong in faith, nigga. We're all about this. So we gotta stand bold in our frame, declaring your whole about something I was right. We know to know that we gotta this flesh ain't it? This ain't it. But these people glory to get tattoos, which is not seeing glory in wickedness. That's what the flesh promotes, tattoo all over the arm and the face. All over the neck. You know what I mean? But the one that get one, they want more than it hurts you, bro. All over the place till you still. Yeah. Suffocated. That neck tattoo makes you suffocated, man. You talk to someone, it's like he's got a hand on his neck, choking his
And you
might get like serpents on them to get serpents.
Lots, yeah. Tattoos, yeah. Trump stamps, yeah. Yeah.
Someone else to look at.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Back in the day, that wasn't even a lick. Now these women are just the worst.
100%.
You can't even wear dresses.
It's crazy. And the proof he pushed that is there was a time if you had any showing tattoos, you ain't getting a job. But now he's normalized that now. You know?
You shall change our vile body that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself.
Break it down, bro.
So the Lord's gonna basically put us in a spiritual. We're basically gonna become extraterrestrial. Currently, we're terrestrial, meaning like we're only essentially bound by the capabilities of what we're able to do on Earth. But we're gonna be extraterrestrial. It changes us being able to do things that the physical body can't ever even still be in that terrestrial state. That's where we're gonna rule over them. We're gonna be able to be their force, be faster, stronger, better than them, man. Able to fly, do all things that the Lord.
Samuel, David and all that. And then he was like, one of them was wondering, well, how come I can't be the guy? He's like, no, the bearer. And he kept bringing this in, you know, he kept bringing bearer. That was a dope show. Yeah, I'm gonna try to beat that one. Probably can't find it.
You know what?
What the done with YouTube, man? AI is taking over. iRobot, iTunes. Well, yeah, YouTube, iTunes. It's different, man. Things like that. They're buying the life of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Facebook. It's all about your profile. What we got, man?
Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noe were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So right now, like, you know, like you got be in the right spirit, man. I'm just saying that you got people out there. Remember, there's a luxury to be in all types of people. Where they at? You know what I'm saying? I know some of them might be, you know, but a lot of people might be sincere. A lot of people were sincere. Right. You gotta really take this sacrifice. Your life starts changing now. And when you come in the home, cause contention, you come in, some madness happens and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not that. They don't see the Lord. Is that why some bad? Eat the wrong thing. Check the wrong thing.
Scripture says one man not everyone can go through this power. It's a fight. It's a fight to the end as well, man. You can't just come in and just dip out because, you know, you feel a certain way, something happened that you didn't like. You got to stick it through, man. So that's why the Lord said only one man out of 1,000 could make it through at a time, man. The average person, they're going through their little things in life. They ain't going through what the men of the Lord are going through. You said the brother said spiritual battles, all these things that we have to fight, man. Like, every day, every minute of the day, you're always constantly fighting something. Sure. Fighting evil thoughts. Wickedness is like demons all the time around you trying to fuck you. You know, even if you're trying to light some incense, all of a sudden the light don't want to work. Things like that. There's always constant battles, bro. The average person doesn't even know what brothers are going through. That's why that was not for
What kind of spirit is that? Is it like you're a bugged out, confused demon, man? You're confused Gemini. I just had to put that in there. But you know what I'm saying? You run where you fall and you hold the frame. Yeah, man. But really, you don't want to be there. You know, people like that over the years. Like, so Lord ain't dealing with that. You gotta make your stance, and that's when, you know, really start catching that fire. Jaw to the end. You know. Yeah.
And this is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him.
That's so you can't draw back, you can't give up, you can't say, oh, this is too much. You can't do that. Because even what we're doing with now, we can see how they're trying to set certain things up. They're going to try and do that, the T-bomb. You know, got the T-bomb from? Instead of saying terrorist, say the T, I say the T-bomb. Because John Jones, right? Daniel Cormier. Because John Jones is already in that guy's head, man. That's why he whooped Cormier. Cormier started crying when he got beat in the ring. Yeah, right. He was that much hate. So John Jones was in his head. So then they were talking back and forth on the, the kind of like face off thing. But it was like, yeah, right. So then eventually Cormier called him. He was like, he talks good, right? He talks more. But then he went, nigga, and put that. He got a character. So really, the N bomb. That's what King Jones said, man. He had called me at that point. So basically, you got the N bomb, but I got a cut. Then you got the T bomb. This is the 10 and this and all that. Right? Really? You can't. Well, listen, man, as I was watching Apostles and out of that was talking about, we ain't. If you check us, we ain't into. All we do is read the Bible. That's all we do. We just teach this. We teachers. That's it.
It says, verse 39, but we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul.
He said that. So we ain't doing this in vain. Fast forward, you ain't in vain. We always go to that. We just went. So there's everlasting, kingdom.
Because currently you just think like, why are these guys standing up those? It's like you might have still doing that.
And you know what I've noticed, man? The closer you get to the end, people in the world look more stupid. Because society, the Matrix, is finding that they're bringing it to the media that it's the Matrix. The things that's coming out.
I'm telling you, bro. All these orbs. We're like, bro, hold on. It's your government, They said we don't know what this is. It's not Russia, it's not China. We don't know what it is. And then you're like mad, and then eating a Big Mac.
This is the Matrix, man. You got walking man. That's crazy, man. Everything is crazy. Where did it get the end person from? Real life? It's got the main characters, the main players, the House of David, the elect. Right, then you got the masses.
Yeah. So like in the Game of Thrones, they didn't care about a random man in King's Landing. It was just extra, extras.
Where's the money for that?
I think we used to go into all the palace scriptures and all that, talk about the colour of the Lord, the true Israelites, the true Jews. Now you got these, upstarts coming out saying that the Lord's a man of colour, man. That's like coming into the mainstream now. It's like, I like that the elder said, as we come closer and closer to the end, more and more people are going to be looking stupid. Because we've been saying this shit for years, man. Now they're going to come up with like the same people.
The unnormal becoming normal. Even through AI. Like all this talking about flying cars, they got that flying men and they got these fucking this skateboards, you don't have to fucking pedal. They got these flying things that they've got drones. Come on, man. That's some shit from the Jetsons. So that the unnormal is normal, basically. And then the spookers of the roadside, the chariots, everything There's the talk of all that. No one ain't interested anymore.
In scriptures. Yeah. Is why it's relevant.
It's associated judgment to the scripture. Anything like catastrophic, say, oh, is this going to be biblical? Or it's biblical times. Don't say it's going to be Quran times.
Let it go. When there's a natural disaster on the BBC news, they always say it's a biblical proportions. They always say it in the UK news, the UK. That's what they say. That's what they say. It's whether of biblical proportions. They always say it, bro. And now, actually, matter of fact, right now they're saying that there's fucked up floods in that in the UK. Right. Then you got the fog, yeah, the fog. I remember that when he was in the middle of the fog. We came, and then you got the fog. It's all over the place in America.
Yeah.
Right, it's global basically, man.
And this rain's weird, man, because I was hanging up my jacket to dry, and it was yellow, and it was yellowy brown in it. I was like, bro, I
have to chuck that jacket in.
Bro, it's mad.
Oh no, bro. Oh no, bro. You make me shut up.
Oh no.
Oh no, I don't.
Well, basically, this rain is messed up, man.
Right.
There's something in the.
With that jacket?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably could, man. Don't listen. Yes.
You know, but
maybe if the fog hit his glove, he'll throw his glove.
Yeah, man.
Let's read, man.
Yeah, this is
Yellow,
Ezekiel
that's
33
crazy.
and 33. And when this come to pass, and lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them.
Yeah, man. So that yellow rain you're talking about, man. I mean, I didn't hear about it.
Can you do it's because it was the way it was just rolling off because it's you know when you got the waterproof skin.
Yeah, man.
So it doesn't like seep into your jacket. It just kind of rolls off.
Right.
So I'm hanging up my jacket to just like so the water drips down.
Right.
And then like I'm looking at the water, the floor. I'm like, wait there. Why isn't it clear? Like, you know, rain's supposed to be clear, but it was like this yellowy browny color. Like it was clear, but you know, it's got hints of yellow brown in it. I was like, what the fuck is in this air?
All of that, the chemtrails, chemicals,
Yeah.
all of that, the fog. Which you know, what the hell? What's he doing?
Yeah,
Right now? What is he doing?
Yeah, but
Oh, what's his face in
Energy weapons.
Was meant to be the Florida,
Florida.
whatever.
Yeah.
What's his name, man? Thingy Jr. JFK Jr.
Oh,
Robert. RFK Jr. The one that, yeah. Because he said he was talking to a few of the states about the Florida, 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 whatever. So like, doing that. So that's coming. It's like all these things that were mentioned like decades ago. Now it's all of a sudden like now it's real. Like your government's implementing them things. Like, what's going on?
What's
People
going
say
on?
come to the drones dropping fertilizer in the air. That drone attached you, they say people dropping fertilizer. That's why that smoke, that fog.
yeah, some people even saying that the fog is to stop people from looking up at what's really going on with the chariots and shit as well. Maybe a lot of speculations about what's going on smart dust. You know what I mean? Making a lot of people saying it's making people ill as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of
What else? Even the smells funny anyway. Illness was going around as well, like swiftly after.
Pestilences, man.
The guy had like a petri dish put out this raindrop. It's like little fucking nanos,
Yeah.
nano pipes type of thing.
Fucking symbiote.
Yeah, like fucking great.
Precepts, crazy. Yeah. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's just like the chariot, man, we talked about. The so-called spaceships, mothership. They put spaceships in all them Star Trek, all of that. They always have, and the ships have got different shapes. They're not, you got the wheel within a wheel, which that's the famous one, and they talk about that, which they call a flying saucer. But it's a wheel within a wheel. You got that shape, and you got the long ones. You got different shapes of the spaceships. The galactic universal ships, whatever you know what I'm saying. The chariots, they got different shapes, man, and they show you that in them shows. Then you got then you got the wheel within a wheel. That's like, you know what I'm saying. That's a prominent, ship, and the Lord's going to come with a ship to cover that planet. That's why it says every eye shall see him, because he's coming in a ship bigger than the earth, or however. You know what I'm saying? That's come on, man. They ain't gonna be able to do that. They ain't gonna be able to scoff at that. Blue beam and all that. When the Lord comes back, bro, you ain't gonna be able to deny what you see. You know what I'm saying? Angels are popping down out of ships and all that, man. That's what's gonna be going on.
Laser beams.
Right, the beams, laser beams.
Looking like Jacob's ladder, man.
As I said, you couldn't see the beginning or the end of it. Like,
you just look into the ship. You know what I'm saying?
Huh? Isaiah 19,
Y'all
verse
are stupid, man. Yo, when you go, like, bro, when you travel, you come out of your country, you see how big the earth is big. And a lot of it is, most of it's covered with water. It's covered with spooky shit. Covered with, leviathans and sea whale sharks. Right, the earth's spooky. So remember the Lord called us worms. The Lord calls Jacob worms, right? Like that's Israelites. You're fragile, man.
Yeah.
You're fragile. You trip on you know what I mean? You know what I mean? For weeks you're out. You're fragile, man. When you're crossing the road, you got to be making sure if you get hit. You're fragile. Even the dog bite your leg. So that's why the Lord, that's why there was a documentary where people went up to the highlands because of the nature and it's spooky up there. There was hippies that went there and they converted to Christianity. And that dude did a documentary on it, man. What the fuck was his name? That Brick Geezer, man.
Louis Theroux?
Not him. Brick Geezer, something.
Well spoken chap.
Yeah, he's a well spoken.
He did Planet Earth, I think.
Oh,
not him.
Oh, not him.
You're talking about the older geezer.
Yeah, the older. Yeah. It's an old.
Island documentary. What's his name, man? The internet is what? Trying to find shit.
The AI just.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Same search, like
Ben Fogel. Yeah. Ben Fogel. He's proper. If you see his face, show him his face. Show him his face. That's what happened. It was up there and it converted to Christianity. So basically, when you go out in nature, like they had that movie. What was that movie, man? With the Leviathan in it. Cloverfield. Yeah. That's what all that's about. Cloverfield, Godzilla, those type of movies. You know what I mean? You realize how fragile you are, really. When you're on a plane and if you go on the plane, you're dropping out as well. You know what I'm saying? When you're on a plane, if you've ever been on one and you're looking at shit,
it's tiny.
Right, and then you just got this nature and you think, bro, well, you don't think that, but I was thinking one time when I was on the plane,
I was like, bro, I hope the Most High don't crash this plane into the sea because it looks
Bro,
so epic out
bro,
there.
when you're
I was
out
like,
of
what
the-
is this?
Bro, the sea's white. Like when you're looking out the window, it's just like it never ends.
Then you
And
got
there's no difference.
you got land masses that are just uninhabited. Like, and even if you think about most countries, most of the land isn't inhabited. You're just in a pocket of that land.
Yeah, bro.
So how do you know what's going on out there? You know,
Yeah, Britain's tiny.
that's yeah.
Go out
That's why
into
you
a
got
forest,
dinosaurs out here and shit, man. Like you people really think, man, come on, man. That's why they control you in your little pockets. You don't really leave your little 15-minute. Well, now they're probably 30-minute cities. They're probably 30-minute cities, but they're going to turn into 15-minute. They're already 30-minute cities. Go work, go home, go to the bar, get done in, and go home. Yeah, wake up. Take all the pills you can to get yourself up, and you're back at work. 30-minute cities, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So the Lord's about to ride in on that swift cloud. When the scripture says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, just like what Captain was guided to earlier. You know, everyone's going to see how it shine when he comes, man. And the Lord's going to ride into that swift cloud. That cloud's going to blot out everything that you can see, like you mentioned, in Ezra's. You know, that Ezra saw the shit that Yahushua is coming on. He couldn't see the end of it, you know, and it was doing damage. Like the flaming breath, the tempest, the spark. So these people ain't ready for that, man. And when Habakkuk was describing it, he said, look, Lord, there was that anger against the seas, you know, against the rivers. In thy wrath, remember mercy. He was saying all of that, man. So, and that's the man of the Lord. Ezra was saying that, well, woe is me,
The sick to the stomach.
you know. So hey, man, you mentioned earlier, you mentioned about like the remnant, where the righteous be scarcely be saved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we're in that time, man. Like, it's about to get peak, and the Lord's coming back. Hey, it's the hopeful year of deliverance. You know what I mean? So, hey, the scripture says now is our salvation there and when we believe. You know?
All right, man. Hey, we'll close out on that. You know what I'm saying? Catch your brothers next week, man. Hey, shalom, man.
Shalom.